Into the circle nearest the blue line and to the right of Jacques Cloutier. Recently won the face-off for Buffalo, and it's played along the boards away from Fetisov. There being no icing, we watch Starikov go back for it. Played it up this right side. Kozchikin takes it back of the net, giving it to Fetisov. Fetisov, the pass up the middle, and the Sabres knew exactly what to expect. Broke it up.
Kasatonov, usually the partner of Fetisov, but now it's Starikov. I don't know if they're getting ready to let Fetisov go.
They may well be. Wouldn't that be something if he were to join the New Jersey Devils for the playoff run that is underway in the National Hockey League? Kozchikin with a cross-ice pass, broken up neatly by Housley. Man open on the left wing, and Housley, very alertly, blocked the pass. Now gives the puck to Bodger. Dumps it in between the defense. Playing back for the Soviet Union, Kasatonov. Made it up the board. Tutu got a stick on it, then steered aside by Galashimov. In forechecking is Housley. Had it momentarily. Now goes off Shepard. And the Soviets take over again. Gusarov back to the net. Kasatonov waiting here on the right side. Gusarov crossed right in front of his own net. Dangerous play.
Not much room to move around behind that net in this rink. Usually you get in international hockey 13 feet. It's only 10 in the NHL.
Makarov brings it in on the left side. Centered one, but behind his teammate, Yemchev, and it's Arneal coming down the left side. Now Arneal put it over Rutu's pick. McVie went in after it. Got checked on the play. Yemchev over on the left wing. His pass deflected. And Bodger, covering up, shoots it right back into the Soviet zone. Alexei Gusarov went back to the net. Larry Ernoff, number 8. Larry Ernoff played it up the left side. Gusarov, the defenseman, rushes it into the Buffalo zone on the backhand. It's in deep. Chased to the corner by Playfair, then centered to Kamensky. To Larry Kamensky. Now the Makarov shot. That's deflected and went wide. Dikov and Kamensky along with Makarov, the forward line for the Soviets. 15 of these players participated in the Winter Olympic Games, winning the gold medal when undefeated in Calgary last February. They have lost one game in the series. Here's Kamensky breaking in. What a save by Cloutier, reaching out to knock it off his stick. Good scoring opportunity denied for the Soviet Union. They tighten up again. Biakin with a pass. Anderson took Kamensky down. Bikov with a shot. Cloutier the save, and he covers the puck. 15 minutes, 8 seconds remaining in the opening period. There is no score. You're watching the NHL Soviet Union Superpower Series on...
At the Oak Store, there are a few things you can't find. We don't have cheap, poorly built furniture. And there are no high-pressure salespeople. What you will find is high-quality, locally manufactured, beautiful oak furniture and thousands of country accessories. What you will experience is the relaxed atmosphere of a family-owned and operated business. What you will enjoy is a furniture store completely out of the ordinary. The Oak Store, Felicita Village, Escondido. Welcome to our world of country.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Sunroad Mitsubishi's Circus of Values going on now through January 30th. Experience the excitement. See the savings on a huge selection of Mitsubishis. Plus, during the Sunroad Mitsubishi Circus of Values, test drive any new Mitsubishi and get 2 free tickets to any one of these Circus Vargas performances. Come to Sunroad Mitsubishi for incredible savings and tickets to fabulous Circus Vargas now through January 30th. Sunroad Mitsubishi, your first stop in the Escondido Auto Park.
Watching Sports Channel America's coverage of the Superpower Face-Off Series on the Prime Ticket Network. Sports television at its best.
Valery Kamensky shows the speed now. He gets a real good scoring chance and a good save by Cloutier. And Kamensky caught my eye in that rendezvous series. Hasn't lived up, though, to his expectations.
No, so often they said that he saved his best games for North America. And a pretty good series in winning the gold medal. He hasn't been quite as spectacular in this tour. They have so many young players coming. It must make National Hockey League general managers and coaches drool a little bit. Well, Gildy, who was a star in the World Junior Tournament, plays regularly for Central and Army, is not with the team right now. Molino centering one from behind the Central Red Army goal. The puck comes back into the Buffalo territory. Slaps out of there into the center ice zone by Sean Anderson. The Soviets get over the line. Beakoff to Kamensky. What a stop. Telepukin pokes at the rebound. Luce blocked it right at the goal line. Galeno jostling, and we get our first little bit of a tussle in this series as they go back to that Buffalo net.
They don't fool around, though. They get that pass across, Jigs. He was just trying to fire it right by Cloutier, but like you mentioned, the anticipation of Cloutier made the save. He was with it all the way because it was a quick pass across, and he one-timed it right away, and the speed of that pass and the way they can convert it made a real good scoring chance. And this is, I think it's Baikal. He comes in here. Now watch this. He gets up again, and he sort of keeps the puck and still on his knees. Here's the pass across and the quick one-timer, but look at Cloutier's left pad makes the save.
Great stop. Telepukin went right back after the rebound. Could not jam it between the pads of Jacques Cloutier. We mentioned at the outset, Cloutier has not played very many games this season, but he has made some big stops. Each team with 3 shots on goal officially, and no score. We have played 7 minutes of this opening period at Buffalo. Soviet setting up at center ice. Starikov having giving it to Fetisov and drop it back. This is what Scotty was pointing out. Nowhere to go with it. They just go back, go back.
They'll want to make it go on the other side, but the guy was standing still. But see how they get them in motion.
Now Chernik plays the puck out to Fetisov. Coming off his stick. Davidoff is there and dumps it in. It'll be picked up by Housley. That's going to be, well, the whistle is for a slash. Referee Bill McCreary indicating a penalty call. So the first power play opportunity of the evening will go to the Soviet Union. Would you like to see the Stanley Cup champion play a European champion to determine a world championship? That's our question of the night for our Sports Channel America fans. There is a 75-cent per call charge. If you say yes, you'd like to see the NHL and the Europeans decide a world championship, dial 1-900-300-6311. If you're opposed, 1-900-300-6312. Scotty, here's the 75 cents. Who are you going to call? Yes or no?
You're right, but we should mention this Central Red Army team is a team in the regular schedule, but if there's a good young player in the Soviet Union, he ends up on this team. So it is sort of an all-star team, although they play in the regular league as a team. So you have to remember that they will group their best players onto that one team.
Yeah, they've picked up a couple of players from other teams, put them on Central Red Army. The Dynamo Riga team had a line as well, a line that played in the Olympics. Now Fetisov for the shot, changed direction, went up into the seats. The penalty call, by the way, was rough for slashing at the 7:13 mark.
Saw the reaction, though, of Fetisov. He must have been talking to himself, because that's something we didn't see half a dozen years ago. Get the puck on the point, tee it up in the long wind-up in the slap shot, and the saver, I think, was Scott O'Neill, deflected in the crowd.
Is he practicing for the Devils? I'm sure the people with New Jersey would like to have him just as quickly as they can get him. Speculation is that the date isn't that far away. Starikov on the left side. Fetisov on the right as they put the puck deeper in the Buffalo zone. Makarov with it now. Back it goes to Fetisov, and Makarov finds some room at the side of the net. Larionov centers, they score! Igor Larionov setting up the play, and the power play works for the Soviets as Nemchev, added to this line, gets the power play goal.
But it was textbook passing, and one thing with the Soviets, they had the other defenseman who was bothering Cloutier. He comes in on the other side, and there's Fetisov. He's not going to make a mistake. He passes it to Makarov, and watch Larionov right in front of the net now. He'll just redirect this one, and you see the other defenseman just on the left-hand side nearly came in, and he had 2 selections to pass that puck, yet he put it right where he wanted in the goal crease, deflected in.
Igor Larionov and number 24, Sergei Makarov. From Larionov.
Well, there's the scoring on the goal for the Soviets. Nemchev getting his 2nd goal in this series. Larionov and Makarov assisting. At 7:43, it is a power play goal for the Soviets. Aims at 6 aside as Housley took Rogers' pass. Comes over the Soviet line, gave it to Donnelly, and shot. Relasheva hugging the right post, makes the save.
Got the defense backing in a little bit. Housley jumping up and going up like a forward. And what they do now, the Sabres, they've got it pretty well down pat. that winger will come back and take Housley's position. Watch Housley. He'll jump up here right now, move into the middle. The other guy will go back and play defense with him. And it actually was a good pass to Donnelly. This is a shot from the top of the circle, but a little high right at the goaltender.
Foligno wins the draw. The puck goes back to Bodger for a shot. Galashimov to save. The rebound has got it in. Mike Foligno.
Right off the face-off. The pass came across to Bodger. He let it go. Galashimov could not handle it. He thought he had it in his glove. The puck was on the ice. And Foligno went in and put that rebound in. But a shot here from Bodger. He let it go right off the face-off. Now he can't handle it. Watch Foligno just come in and just sort of tap it and actually hit it out of the air. And this game is tied on a good shot by Bodger, a good goal by Foligno.
Mike Foligno has scored some big goals for the Buffalo Sabres. He's even jumped higher than he did in the reaction to that goal, but it has tied up this game at 1-1. Foligno has 10 regular season goals, and that's one at 8:08. You hear the reaction from the crowd as the announcement is made. Nershon will get an assist. Bodger as well. The Soviets right back into the Buffalo territory. Yensky trying to dig it off the end boards. Centered one back. Bikov put it behind the net. Homatov trying to put it out in front. Homatov got turned around by the defensive work of Playfair. Pushes at Homatov. The puck in the meantime on the right wing for Shepard. Out through center. Priestley plays it back the other direction. The play broken up. Here's Yensky down that wing. He is one of only 3 right-hand shots as he gave the puck to Bikov. He centered it. Nobody there for the Soviets. Held it at the line by Starikov. Bikov went back to the blue line, then turned it over. A rare move. Johansson moves it into center ice. Shepard across the line. Shepard put it off to the goaltender's right side. It comes back. Held in by the Sabres. Shepard from back of the net. Trying to stuff one in. Got another opportunity. And the Sabres for the second chance. Galashimov diving around in front of the net. Buffalo scores!
A lot of action around the goal. Galashimov left his feet about 5 seconds before the Sabres. Shepard had a pretty good chance. Hope put it in, but all kinds of good shots here. Scott Metcalf gets a good shot on the turnaround, and finally the goaltender makes the save. But you see he goes down, and the puck comes around in front here. Watch the goalie now. He goes down. Shepard tried to jam it from the back, but Metcalf does a turnaround. He makes this save and doesn't get up. He gets down, and finally Hogue will come in. He's down. He slides it. That puck just trickles in.
Benoit Hogue for Buffalo. 9 minutes and 30 seconds into the opening period. And the Sabres lead 2-1. Hogue had 9 goals in the NHL, and now has given Buffalo the 2-1 lead. Zelapukin centering the puck to Chernik as the Soviets move in. What a job by Ramsey all over Chernik. Soviet Union able to recover the puck. Davidoff put it in the corner. Sabres trying to move it out. It's picked off by Zelapukin, who shot it wide. Davidoff, crossing in front of the net at the time. Now Chernik goes to center one. Ramsey trying to hand pass it. It comes back to Starikov. Knocked away. Good heads-up move by the Sabres. Jeff Parker. Now Parker slaps it into the Soviet zone. Both teams in the middle of player changes. And we watch the Soviets trying to move out. It's the Tisov. His pass into the skates of 5. Rutu for Buffalo. Plays it back. Housley's pass was tipped to Bodger. That'll Scott Arneal. He is checked outside the line. Amsterdam moving up. Puck knocked away from him. Kucherov got it to Larry Ernoff. Playing to the boards. The Soviets. Kucherov goes to Makarov. Put it in front. Bodger is there. Housley gets bucked. Five is knocked down. Arneal picks up the puck for Buffalo. Across to Housley. He was onside, but could not control it. Now Five gets to it. Rick Five kicks it in along the boards. Arneal puts the body into Kucherov. Fired it right across the front of the net. Makarov gets the puck to center. Bodger puts it right back in. There's a delayed penalty call against the Soviet Union. Larry Ernoff is going off for the Soviets.
And you know, I can...
Pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Superpower Face-Off series on Sports Channel America.
If you're a sports fan, you ought to know about the King Slap Shop. Located in Westchester near the LA airport, the Slap Shop has everything you'll need to dress like a king. You'll find the best in hockey fashion, from authentic jerseys to t-shirts, sweaters, jackets, and more. You'll also find hats, decals, pennants, and other hockey souvenirs. The King Slap Shop, 8808 South Sepulveda in Westchester, located in the All-Year Sports Den. Call for a free catalog, area code 213-215-1084.
This is the turnaround shot by Scott Metcalf, and Shepard actually tried to get a hold of the puck, but finally, you see there's Shepard poking away and poking away. The goalie's down before the shot is even taken. Finally, look at the strength of Hogue, surprisingly enough, is able to get that puck. Starikov can't get him, and there's a look at the goaltender, Galashimov. He just can't believe it went in.
That's one of the things that have changed over the years, too, the reactions. The players now, we used to think they were robots. There was never any reaction or indication of excitement or disappointment. We saw Larry Ernoff in the penalty box. Interference is the call at 11:10. So the Sabres with the power play for the first time. The power play is ranked 12th in the NHL, but that, of course, has no bearing on this game. As we watch the end of 10 move in. The Soviets are famous for short-handed goals. They'll drive a team crazy. The forechecking of Makarov plays it across to the right side, and there's Shepard back for Buffalo. Ray Shepard laid it to the corner. Johansson setting up back of the net. Shepard and Turgeon both went to the far side. The pass instead to Anderson. Sean Anderson plays it up into the Soviet zone. And that's going to be called back. Anderson put it in from his own side of the center ice stripe.
Goalie read it well, did not play it, and Anderson was about 2 feet from center ice. Turgeon's been a big power play hockey player for the Sabres. Half of his 18 goals have come in the power play, and surprising statistic, Phil Housen, only 3 goals on the power play of his 18. Rick Vaive, coming over from Chicago, has already had 2, which gives him 9 of his 12 on the power play. So the Sabres have got a potential for a good power play with Vaive coming over from Chicago. He likes to stay in front of the net and get that little tip in and rebound.
He is one guy who will sacrifice, take all the punishment that any team wants to lay out. Turgeon on this face-off. Vaive is the other forward on the right side, and Ruutu is on the left as we watch Housley rushing the puck in. They got checked. Aikov is knocked down. Turgeon trying to set it up. It's knocked off his stick by Holoton. Now Vaive back in the net. Runs into a check throw by Malakoff. Watcher knocks it out of the air at the blue line. Plays it into Vaive, and he just could not get a stick on it. Malakoff and Vaive go to the corner. The puck comes back to Housley. Across to Watcher. In along the boards to Ruutu. Vaive parked on one side of the net. Turgeon on the other. This is Vaive out in front. He scores! A power play goal for Rick Vaive. He has been a big plus to Buffalo since that deal with Chicago and has made it 3-1.
Well, you see here, it actually didn't get out. Bodger makes a good play, and Vaive ends up going back on the goal line. We'll see it here. Housley keeps this one, and we'll watch Vaive. The other defenseman will come up on the line, and he leaves Vaive. Finally, Ruutu holds the puck, gives it to Vaive, and Vaive comes right out and puts it right in the top corner, right over the goalie. A great goal, 3-1 Buffalo.
And now the Soviets into the Buffalo zone. Moving in here on the right side. Chicken centers it across. It's intercepted. And brought out by Jeff Parker. Parker over the Soviet line. Puck knocked away from him. Konstantinov picks it up, and the whistle is sounded on an offside. So Rick Vaive on a power play goal at 12:34 has taken Buffalo to a 3-1 lead. Big goal at this stage.
We were kind of half.
We pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Superpower Face-Off Series on Sports Channel America.
All over Southern California, thousands of shoppers are making a change for the better to Ralph's and the Giant. They're changing for lower prices, and they're changing for higher standards. Plus, this week, you can make a change for these better buys. Clean up with great savings on Fold and Tide detergent. A 42-ounce box is only $1.99. Save on assorted varieties of Ragu spaghetti sauce. A 32-ounce jar is just $1.69. And Bounce fabric softener, regular, unscented, or with stain guard, is specially priced at only $1.99. Change for the better to Ralph's and the Giant.
Back here at Buffalo, the play just underway. I'm Jakes McDonald with Scotty Bowman. Buffalo leads 3-1. They've outshot the Soviets 11-4. And throughout most of this tour by the Soviet teams, they have been the ones with the majority of the shots on goal. There's Fetisov. His shot deflected. At the handle of the stick, comes out in front. Shot wide. Davidoff with a great chance, missed the net. Now Zalapukin comes out of the corner. Housley knocked it off the stick. Davidoff from back of the net. Fired it across the front. Asatonov held it in for Zalapukin. Housley all over him. Plays a little more physical now. Housley knocks Zalapukin down. Davidoff puts it in the corner. Kluche comes out of the net to move it up the boards to Shepard. He dumps it to center. The crowd reacting. It's been good action. Call it an exhibition, if you will, or a goodwill tour, or whatever, but they've come to play tonight. Watcher takes it away from Davidoff. Moves it up the boards. It's intercepted, however. Larry Arnoff gets knocked down, and there'll be a penalty for holding on Priestley. 5.5 minutes to play in the opening period. Buffalo up 3-1. You're watching the Superpower Series on Sports Channel.
If it's happening, I'm there, okay? Foreign films, answering machine for my car phone, okay? Hey, it's goat cheese or no cheese. My beer, so hip, with a twist.
When you're done kidding around, Heineken.
Check me out. All my plastic, gold. You know, I live in the city, but my clothes say Safari. My imported beer, ooh, the bigger the better, mate.
Like we said, when you're done kidding around, Heineken.
Good chance for the Soviets. Watch this drop pass. Fetisov lets it go. I think it's Bikov that just about tips it. There's the tip right there over the top of the net. A real good scoring chance, and they came back and really jammed the net. But this was a good play by Housley to get back and knock the puck. I think it was off of Davidoff's stick.
But now Priestley has gone to the penalty box for holding. The Soviets took a 1-0 lead earlier in the period on a power play goal by Niemchinov. Sarah plays it deep into the Buffalo zone. Eli Johansson rings it around the boards off Rutu's stick. Asatonov back on the Soviet defense. Takes the pass here on the right side. Harry Ernott moves up the middle of the ice. Now peels to the left wing to take the pass. Comes over the line, but it's offside. Very unusual. Very, very seldom do you see the Central Red Army team go offside, but especially on a power play.
Niemchinov replacing the great Krutov, who was injured in the Pittsburgh game, did not play against Hartford. And generally the Soviets do not juggle players on a power play. They'll go with a set line and the defense partners. And that's why their defensemen are so good offensively. They don't have any defenseman that really can't handle the puck.
And a quick look at the bench as Viktor Tikhonov takes Gutserov off the ice. Makarov is out there. Fetisov and Starikov are now the defense combination. You must be tuned into you, Scotty. Niemchinov with the puck at center ice. Pulling to the left side. It was knocked off his stick. He plays it toward the corner finally. As he moved it up, Rutu dumps it down into the Soviet zone. Lashimov cleared it off to the right side for Fetisov. Over the line with the pass down Makarov. Makarov centers. Kenieski chased to the corner. Puts one back to the net. It bounced away from Larry Ernott. Larry Ernott gets it again. Has taken off the puck, however. And it's right up the boards and on into the center ice area. Right to Galashimov and back in. A short-handed goal. Lindy Ruff goes right to the net. The puck bounces off of him by Galashimov, and it's 4-1.
What a careless play, though, by the goaltender. I often wonder if they make goaltending changes, but this is an amazing goal. A short-handed goal for Lindy Ruff. There's the puck trickling down, and Fetisov's the defenseman trying to get back. And finally, the goalie plays it and hits Ruff and goes in and makes it 4-1. So the Sabres have really come alive here. They scored 3 goals in 4 minutes, and here's another angle on it. Fetisov sort of nonchalant a little bit, but the goaltender making a dreadful play to put the Sabres up by 3.
Galashimov is from Spartak Moscow. He does not normally play for the Central Red Army team. It's his 6th season in the Elite League. He did play in the 1983 World Champion Junior team from the Soviet Union. Was highly respected at that time, but has given up 4 first-period goals. Makes a stick save there, but the whistle had sounded. Ruff's goal is scored at 15:46. There There's still 24 seconds remaining on the clock here. The penalty call against Priestley.
I think it was important, though, Buffalo, after the classic goal the Soviet Union scored to make it 1-0, they came back in a little less than 25 seconds on the Foligno goal, and then they scored a minute and a half later. A young team acquired a lot of confidence in that 2-minute span.
Live on a power play, Rupp on a shorthanded goal. The Sabres up 4-1. Omatov bringing the puck up the middle of the ice. Andre Omatov dumps it in wide. Luce puts it in the corner. Turgeon got tied up in the play. Now they move it back. Kasatonov shot is blocked by Pierre Turgeon and went right through the skates of Beekhoff here on the right side. Watcher bumps him. The puck goes back to the net for Omatov. Out to Beekhoff. And it's stolen and brought out by Priestley. And Priestley down the left side. Leonard put across just out of the reach of Foligno. Back comes Housley for Buffalo. Across the Soviet line. Not pick up the puck again, however. Kasatonov plays it to the left side. It's loose in the Buffalo zone. Omatov picked it up and shot it, but now the whistle sounds. They're ruling the puck was knocked down with a stick raised over the shoulder level. 3 minutes remaining in the opening period. Buffalo leading 4-1. You're watching the Superpower Series on Sports Channel.
I don't quite understand the purpose of that rule.
It learned to run in the Black Forest of Germany. But unlike others, it also learned to be nice to people. Scorpio, the German sedan that's comfortable without forgetting what it learned in the forest. Scorpio, German performance you can be comfortable with.
Now get $2,000 customer cash on 1988 Scorpio from Lincoln Mercury.
Moved right into the Soviet zone following the face-off. Now the puck cleared out by Biakin. Larry Playfair back. And it was turned over and off Luce and just wide of the net. Chavira out for his first shift, I believe, got that shot away. And the Soviets are now forced back into their own zone. Konstantinov played it up the left wing. Now back to Malakoff in this left wing corner. Vladimir Malakoff over Len Koschekin on the left side. Mike Ramsey just sort of carelessly turned the puck over on the far side of the ice and stepped up into the crowd.
You really have to watch those turnovers. That was one that shouldn't have really occurred. But we saw the speed of Chibirnev as he got by Housley and got a good shot away that just trickled by the goaltender. And boy, it's amazing. There's, this turnover. There's Housley. He can't handle it. Finally, the puck trickles by Cloutier, but just goes by the post about 6 inches.
Close call. 12-6 are shots on goal. Buffalo leading in that department as well. Certainly, Victor Tikhonov has to be thinking back to that night. Scotty Bowman's coaching took the Sabres to a 6-1 win. That shot hit Ramsey. Now loose in front. They score. Chernik moving in, and it's 4-2. Ramsey shaken up after the shot had hit him. The puck came loose, and the Soviets seized the opportunity.
Talk about the turnovers about 10 seconds ago, and you saw that shot as Ramsey getting a little careless, but boy, the Soviets struck fast here. The puck seemed to have eyes, and I think you'll watch it come by here. They should have had it out. Arneal's against the boards. Ramsey goes down possibly to handle it. He does it, and here it comes right here, boy, right in the top corner. What a shot.
Alexander Chernik gets the goal at 18:06. It's 4-2. Buffalo leading the Central Red Army team. Tisov from back of his goal starts out. Long shot, bad save by Cloutier, and Ramsey moves it up the boards.
They once had a game here in the 70s, 12-6 Buffalo against the Soviet Wings team, so we're right on target. 6 goals in 1 period.
Well, we're headed in that direction, all right. Minute and a half remaining in the first period of the final game of this tour. Bill Housley moved the puck out to Pierre Turgeon. Dumps it into the Soviet zone. Kasatonov with it now. Alexei Kasatonov to Davidoff, who went off his stick to Fetisov. Back to Davidoff. Shoots one from the line. A weak shot. Luce puts it in the corner. There's Foligno. Now to Housley. There's Godley with that pass. The Imshov, who is just about on a player change, moved it up. Here's Makarov over the line. Makarov, look at the puck handling demonstration of Makarov.
Soviets are fortunate, though. NHL rules, that should have been a penalty. Too many men on the ice. Fetisov was lazy getting to the bench.
Now the Soviets move out of their own zone. Makarov down the right side, or Nemchov rather. His pass to Makarov went behind him. Nemchov with it again. Bumped in the corner. The Soviets get the puck again. Makarov backhanded one. It's back in. Tipped off the stick of Kasatonov, I believe, who was crossing through in front. And all of a sudden, it's only a one-goal lead for the Buffalo Sabres.
The Nemchov in the corner showed great strength, but a great play by Makarov as he waited and waited, and this is the thing we talked about, defenseman moving in. Number 6, Kasatonov, comes right in here. He doesn't stop it. He can't. He just deflects it right by the surprise Cloutier. And two, actually, Nemchov was going to the front as well, but what a play by Makarov to really find that loose defenseman. That's what we talked about, Jakes. You can't handle those defensemen that come in, you know, in the last minute of play, he's 10 feet from the goal.
Unbelievable. Buffalo had a 4-1 lead on goals by Foligno, Holmes, 5, and Ruff. And now the puck shot in on an offside. 21 seconds left in the period. Alexei Kasatonov gets the goal. Makarov will get one assist. And the man that Scotty talked about, who made it all possible, Nemchov, gets the other.
There are some pluses about a small rink as well, Jakes. You see that Soviet offense, they can get closer to the net on quick plays, so they seem to have adjusted to this building in the last 5 minutes.
Certainly adjusted to something. Maybe they thought it was an 8 o'clock game. Here they come, 2-on-1 with 8 seconds left. Look out, the pass to Larionov, tipped neatly in front of the net. Good play by Doug Bodger. The Soviets were home free. The horn sounds, ending a wide open first period of hockey. Headed for the dressing room. He appeared to be in trouble. He was down 4-1, then all of a sudden his teammates pick up the pace. And the Buffalo Sabres were reeling as the period came to a close. We talked about the shots on goal earlier. Well, the period ends with only a 2-shot difference. Buffalo having outshot the Soviets 12-10.
Does it look, Jakes, that the defense of either club can handle the attack? There's been so many good scoring chances. I thought the Soviet goalie mishandled a couple, otherwise they'd be ahead. But the Sabres got that confidence when they tied the game up and scored those 2 goals in about a minute and a half. A young team, but boy, those last 2 might just put them right back where they started.
Buffalo outshoots the Soviets 12-10 in the first period. Central Red Army took the lead on a power play. Nemchov getting his 2nd goal in this tournament from Larionov and Makarov at 7:43. And then it was all Buffalo. Foligno from Turgeon and Bodger at 8:08. Hogue from Metcalf and Shepard at 9:30. A power play goal by Rick Vibe with Rutu assisting at 12:34. And then a shorthanded goal by Lindy Ruff set up by Ray Shepard at 15:46. And Buffalo led 4-1. But then Chernik scores at 18:06 and Kasatonov at 19:34. And at the end of one period, it is the Buffalo Sabres 4, the Central Red Army team 3 in a wide-open first period of hockey at Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. Now let's return to our Sports Channel studios, and we'll check in with Lee Zeidman.
Thanks, Jakes. Coming up between periods, we'll update all the NHL action. The Rangers battling New Jersey and Montreal's at Detroit.
I'm Mike Ruzioni. I'll show you how NHL teams are trying to stop the Soviets' high-powered attack.
Scores, highlights, and commentary. Sports Nightly between periods after an interview with Alan Eagleson. Stay with us.
Are holiday high prices behind us? They are at ETV in Encinitas with a year-end clearance sale featuring Mitsubishi video components. Look at this Mitsubishi 60-inch giant widescreen rear projector with stereo sound in a beautiful oak cabinet. Or these TV monitors, stereo, cable-ready, high-resolution pictures in sizes from 20 to over 40 inches. New state-of-the-art VCRs with stereo and all the latest features. Year-end low prices on Mitsubishi video at ETV in Encinitas, Coast Highway south of the Lumberyard Center.
At the Oak Store in Escondido, we deal exclusively in high-quality, locally manufactured oak furniture. It's beautiful, durable, and looks great with any decor. The Oak Store is a family-owned and operated business. There are no high-pressure salespeople. We don't need them. At the Oak Store, oak is a way of life, not just a way of doing business. Country oak furniture with a difference. The Oak Store, Felicita Village, Escondido. Welcome to our world of country.
Nothing tastes as festive, zesty, Latin as the new guacamole bacon cheeseburger from Carl's Jr. Char-broiled with 2 strips of crisp bacon and rich, creamy guacamole. Olay, the new guacamole bacon cheeseburger for a limited time only at Carl's Jr. If you could choose your own body, which would you choose? Remember, the perfect body is balanced. Fit on the inside as well as the outside. So choose the body that's balanced with Avion Natural Spring Water. Avion, with the unique balance of minerals from the French Alps.
Welcome back to Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo, where the Sabres lead the Central Red Army by a score of 4-3. I'm Jiggs McDonald with Scotty Bowman. Happy to have with us tonight Gary Thorne, who's joined our broadcast team. He's down in the studio with the man responsible for putting this whole thing together. Will there be more, Gary?
Yeah, I guess so. Thank you, Jiggsy. This is Alan Eagleson, who is the executive director of the Players Association in the National Hockey League. And some things we'd like to get straight from the horse's mouth, if you will, here. Alan, first of all, you've been to the Soviet Union a number of times as to the future of the series of the National Hockey League in the Soviet Union. Where's it going from here?
We've created pretty well a 5-year program, and this is really the first year of that 5 years. Next year, we expect that all 21 teams in the NHL will play a game, including Mr. Ballard, and at least with the Soviets. The interesting thing we're doing next September of '89, is taking 2 NHL clubs to the Soviet Union for the first time in history. They'll probably play a couple of games in Sweden. The other team will play a couple of games in Finland. And then 2 games in Leningrad, 2 games in Moscow against teams like these that we're seeing tonight.
Do you know who's going at what 2 teams?
No. We've decided, our international committee, which is composed of 3 from the Players Association and 3 from the owners, have decided it's probably in our game's best interest to have 1 team from the U.S. and 1 team from Canada. We have 9 teams from the NHL who have indicated an interest in participating in that type of a schedule, and 2 others, including the Sabres, who said if we're stuck they would help us, but they'd rather wait a year. Calgary, Montreal, Washington, St. Louis, we've got several good teams interested, and that decision will be made next week in Florida at the general managers meeting. They meet in Florida. That's a smart place to meet.
Yeah, this time of year.
And we'll announce it, I think, on about the 25th of January.
All right, Alan, now there have been some rumors that with the games next season, or maybe thereafter, that they might count in the standings of National Hockey League teams. Is that anywhere in that program?
I don't think that's going to happen. John Ziegler and I, in our discussions with the general managers, have heard their views, and it would seem to be a little unfair if you wound up, as an example, this tour. Dinamo Riga is obviously a less strong team than Red Army, and if the points counted in the final standings, it might be unfair. The only way we think it can work out is if we had 2 teams from the Soviet Union come over, with each of those teams playing everybody in the one conference.
Is that possible?
I don't think so. Under our schedule and theirs, I think it would be too much for one team to come over and play 11 games, and in the case of one conference and 10 in the other. I suspect that next year we'll have one team, or maybe 2 teams from the Soviet Union, come between December 1st and 10th, and then the second team come between December 25th and January 10th.
All right, now the issue of Fetisov or any other of the Soviets staying or coming back to play in the National Hockey League, is there any further word on that?
We were in the Soviet Union in August, and it was 90% done then. All we were waiting for was a meeting for Fetisov with the Minister of Defense. Never in the history of the Soviet Union has a colonel in the Red Army resigned, at least of which have we ever had a colonel in the Red Army resign to come to the United States of America. The Department of Defense and the Minister of Defense have to make the final decision. New Jersey's happy, they've made the deal. The Federation's happy, Fetisov's happy. All we're waiting for, I suppose, is to get the problems of Afghanistan straightened out so that the Minister of Defense can then attend to the important things for us, namely Fetisov.
And do you see, Tikhonov is not involved in this anymore, the Soviet coach?
Well, he's a coach, and like every coach, whether you're in the NHL or in the Soviet Union, Scotty Bowman would appreciate this. You don't want your best player to go to another country or to another team even. The position of Tikhonov, though, has been very straightforward from the start. He likes the idea. He thinks it's good for hockey to give an opportunity to Soviet players to come here, and I think he'll help Fetisov all he can.
Okay. Alan Eagleson, we thank you very much for joining us. Nice to get the word from the guy who's been there. We're at the Odd in Buffalo, 4-3 right now. Buffalo leading. We'll be back for more of our intermission right after this.
Introducing
introducing a completely different Mercury Cougar. Introducing pulse-quickening comfort. The all-new Cougar from Mercury, where comfort and control are one.
The making of freeze-dried Taster's Choice coffee. Search the world for the finest coffee beans. Grind them. And at the peak of freshness, brew the richest, most aromatic coffee you can brew. Then freeze it. Freeze-drying locks in the fresh brewed aroma and flavor until you release it. For a truly superior cup of coffee, the choice for taste is Taster's Choice.
Taste it.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly Studios. Lee Zeidman along with Michael Ruzioni. 4-3 we could have accepted as a final score, but after one period, what a surprise.
Well, it's the first so-called high-scoring period that we've had, and with Sergei Gerasimov playing goal, only one goal that I can really fault him on. One thing that we've been able to do through the series is talk a lot about the Soviets and how they play and how they move the puck. One thing we've forgotten to tell you about is a little of how the National Hockey League teams have tried to change their style a little more to fit the way the Soviets are going to play. Let's take a look at one of the things that the teams are trying to do. You're going to see them stand 4 men across. Although they're not directly across the blue line, they were maybe backed in a little too much. But what you're trying to do is keep the Soviets away from skating the puck into the zone. And then the play ends up developing and it goes for whatever reason. But what we're trying to do and what the National Hockey League teams are trying to do is stand up in the blue line. The Buffalo, the Sabres in this game are standing 4 men across the blue line, forcing the Soviets to dump the puck in, something they don't want to do. That particular replay, they should have been up a little higher.
Remember, the series is tied, or right now the series has the NHL trailing by 1 win, so a Sabres victory would tie them in the race for Sports Channel America's Friendship Cup. More on that as the evening progresses. Send you back to Buffalo for period 2 after this.
Just when you thought you knew everything about trucks, Toyota changes all the rules. Introducing the all-new Toyota trucks, redesigned for '89. More V6 4x4 power, all-new optional on-the-move 4-wheel demand. And now, an available V6 4x2 for extra power when you need it. More inner space and comfort, and a new look that says one thing, Toyota quality. Toyota! Who could ask for anything more?
See Mount Shasta 100 miles away. Sure makes everything else look mighty small. Kind of like Great Western Bank, big and strong. You see, nowadays, the Great Western family of companies stands for over $32 billion in assets and the security of federal insurance. They've been keeping folks' money safe for 100 years now, so you know Great Western's going to be there for a long time to come. For sheer size and strength, it sure stands out.
We saw a 7-goal first period. Sabres leading 4-3. Let's go back to the odd in Buffalo. Jiggs McDonald, Scotty Bowman standing by. Gents?
Well, it was a wide-open first period of hockey that we saw, Lee. And I think really you see some of the youth and the speed that the Soviet Union team possesses. I remember a general manager and a coach with the guy who was the general manager on his first-round draft choice selecting a player from Czechoslovakia. The kid's name was Dudacek. The general manager was this man, Scotty Bowman. Now there'll be a lot of GMs considering, I think, Scotty, Soviet players, maybe not as high as first round yet. But if we ever get this thing to the point where we know those players are coming coming out. There are some good ones, although Buffalo took advantage of some areas in this period.
Yes, I think when you look at the Soviet Union, there's an awful lot of players there. Whether they'll let them go, Alan Eagleson alluded to the fact that, you know, maybe it'll never happen, maybe it will, but he thought he had a deal.
Buffalo thought they had themselves a pretty good period as well. They're up by a score of 3-1 thanks to a power play goal.
Bodger keeps it in, and the key of Vive, he's able to get to the goal line after Bodger throws it ahead. Finally, it comes back, and Vive is struggling now to get this puck. And another good play by Hausen to keep it in on the other side. And now the Sabres start working out. Ruutu finally gives it. The Soviet defenseman leaves the front of the net, and Vive makes a good play here from the goal line. He puts it right in the top corner. Here's the pass from Ruutu. He comes right out in front. The goalie doesn't challenge him, and he puts it right. But great shot by Vive to make it 3-1.
Following that, Buffalo is to get a shorthanded goal by Lindy Ruff. They have themselves a 4-1 lead, but in the last couple of minutes of the first period, the Soviets just took the play right away from Buffalo.
Yes, the Dimitrov who's replacing Krutov, but Makarov makes the play. He waits, and finally, number 6 will come in front of the net. Kasatonov, he just deflects this. Here's what Makarov's waiting for. He's a defenseman, is about 5 feet from the goal, and the other Soviet forward, Dimitrov, is right there, but Kasatonov makes it 4-3. A good pass from Makarov.
Indeed, and Soviet Union Central Army team cuts the margin to 1 as the teams have returned to the ice for the second period. We'll be back with that right after these messages.
Heller Ford Suzuki is #1 and growing, and here are 10 reasons why. Count 'em, Misty. 47 years of serving San Diego County. Over 500 cars and trucks. Low factory financing. Convenient service. First-time buyer programs. Factory-sponsored discounts. Low down payments. Easy terms. Friendly people. And low prices.
You got that happiness guarantee from Heller Ford Suzuki.
Come on out today. Tell them Misty sent ya.
Take I-15 to Valley Parkway West in the Escondido Auto Park.
Heller Ford Suzuki.
Want quality leather? Go see Cow. Chairs, sofas, and recliners? Go see Cow. 1,000 colors to select. Use your factory direct. Go see Cow. Go see Cow. Go see Cow.
Thanks, Cal. Hi, I'm Steve Arnold, owner of Leather Factory, where you can buy quality leather furniture. Come on in, pick a style and color. We'll make it the way you want it, as a sofa or a sofa bed, with or without buttons. For your home or office, make the Leather Factory your first choice for quality, selection, and factory direct prices.
Hey, if you don't want quality leather from the Leather Factory, it's no skin off on my back.
Watching Sports Channel America's coverage of the Superpower Face-Off Series on the Prime Ticket Network. Sports television at its best.
Back at Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo as the teams are on the ice, the coaching staffs making their way along the ice. Scotty, talking to you about the fact that, well, we're going to get a goaltending change. As I look down at the Soviet goal, you see that Milnikov is going to take over for Galashimov to start the second period. There's Viktor Tikhonov. Boris Mikhailov is assistant coach, headed for the Soviet bench. I mentioned the fact that you selected a young man from the Czechoslovakian Hockey Federation. Never did get him out.
No, and he became he had a lot of problems with his health. And you know, the strange thing about that draft, though, the player that we were going to take at that time was a player by the name of Todd Struve, and he was selected by Edmonton on a 29th pick. He never played in the NHL as well, so I never really felt at the time, when you get down to the low part of that first round, if you ever could get one. Dudacek at the time was a world-class player, rated about the best in the world, but health problems, they wouldn't let him go when he was healthy, and then he became sick. And of course, he's out of hockey. But the Sabres did draft Alexander Moligny this year. He scored 3 goals in 7 minutes in the World Championships, in the Junior Championships in Anchorage, Alaska. So I don't know if you'll ever get him, but maybe a high pick for a Soviet fifth round pick. But I think you'll see the NHL teams. The talent is so spread out, they'll take the Europeans at the right place.
Well, there were several drafted in this draft year of 1988. Immediately coming to mind the fact that the Washington Capitals selected a player on the 5th round. McGillney was selected here in Buffalo on the next round. And there were some selections later on down the line as well. I think a total of 11 Soviets. Dmitry Ristich was the young man that was selected by Washington in the sixth round after McGillney had been selected. Kamienski, who we've watched tonight, selected by Quebec in the 8th round. There were 2 more in the 10th, 3 in the 11th, and 3 in the 12th round. Now, can you translate that, Mr. Bowman?
Well, I don't know if we're in the Soviet Union or not, but we've got a lot of these kind of signs, and we have no idea what they're saying. Only the people that put them up.
I think some of the university students have been hard at work today. All set for the second period. Buffalo leading by a score of 4-3 as the draw went back to Johansson. Ramsey moved it up the left side. Donnelly has put it down in the Soviet zone, and that's the Tisov with it. Rutu, forechecking, knocked it away from the Emchinov, who picks it up now, comes over center ice. And Makarov with him, the Emchinov moving in. Turned on Ramsey, and Rutu picked him up. The puck comes back to Starikov for a shot. Wide of the Buffalo goal. Got Luce in the nets tonight. Makarov brings it out of the corner. Fetisov goes in toward the front of the net, then backs away. And the pass along the boards was picked up and cleared by 5. Went right back to Ramsey, now to Rutu. Christian Rutu gives it to Scott Arneal. Across to the near side. Johansson moves it through center. Couldn't get it to Rutu. Starnikov's pass. Kamienski knocked down at the Buffalo blue line. And here's Rick Vaive. Got it wide. Mildakov leaves it for Fetisov. Vyacheslav Fetisov. The Homatov to Fetisov. Like those short passes. That one was blocked. Now Kamienski unloads. And Housley blocked it in front. Fetisov shot one off the side of the net. Housley takes it away from Homatov and shot it off his own goal. Housley gets double teamed. The Soviet center, and they tied it up. Out in front quickly to Bykov, and it's 4-4.
Well, the Soviets come out smoking in this second period, and we saw in the Inchop make a good play along the boards earlier, but Fetisov made this rush, nearly scored. Housley couldn't handle the puck. Here's Fetisov, and the puck will come back to him as he's going to a line change. He sort of slides over here. He just throws it at the goal. It misses the net. Housley's trying to handle it, and finally, Bykov, number 19's in front all alone, and he roofs this shot. Boy, right in the top corner. 4-4.
So quick. Bykov's 5th goal of this series. He leads all Soviets in scoring. And that's Bykov moving it from back to his own goal. Kamienski down the left side. Kamienski, a right-hand shot. Centered one, and it was shot wide by Homatov. Kamienski knocks it down back of the net. It's checked by Hogue. And while Hogue played it up the board, Bykov got to it. Bykov turns, pulls it back into his skates, kept it on the stick for the pass to Homatov. It's broken up and cleared up by the Sabres. Backboard is Kasatonov. Gusarov up the near side. Kamienski failed to pick up the puck. Housley will go back.
15, Andrei Homatov. And number 13, Valeri Travinsky.
Homatov and Kamienski got the assists on the goal by Bykov at 1:16 of the second period.
It's been a story of Sabres season. The confidence level goes up and down. They were so confident when it was 4-1. Those 2 goals at the end of the first period seems to have shaken them a little bit. They have to settle down.
Now the Soviets trying to move out. Kasatonov got checked. Metcalf centered one. Shepard couldn't knock it out of the air. Priestley fires it off the pads of Mildakov. Picked up by Malakov. Turned over at center. Shepard waits at the blue line. Now backhands it in. Malakov goes back on the Soviet defense. He is number 7, teamed up with Konstantinov. When the series began, this young number 16 defenseman, Konstantinov, was playing regularly with Fetisov. And Ramsey back in his own zone. Sabres come to center. Here's Shepard over the line. Finds some room. Comes right in. He shoots to it wide on the glove side of Mildakov. Got out by Zelebukin. Down right wing. Zelebukin cuts to the left side. Centered it back, and it's cleared by the Buffalo defense. Yakin puts it behind the net. The Sabres trying to tie up Chernik in front. Now Shepard gets some help as Ramsey clears the zone, and Fetisov drops back. Fetisov to Shabirov. Shabirov into the center ice area. Plays it into the Buffalo zone. Fetisov comes in off the wing. Shoots. Good stop by Luce. Fetisov tied up back in the net by Mike Ramsey, rather. Here's Fetisov getting away from Shepard. Look at this. Fetisov, the puck control. Nobody can catch him. Nobody can check him. Fetisov putting on a one-man demonstration. Then he gave it to his teammate, and it's knocked off the stick of Chikin, who has to go back to recover. Some display. And now the Soviets bumped as they tried to move into the Buffalo zone. The play broken up, and Rutu and handled it at center ice. Rick Vide does. Vide pulled it in around Larry Arnott, and then Fetisov took him off the skates.
Doing it all, but the Soviets have got too much of this puck for the Sabres Lightning. They've got to get some attack going because they're just defending all the second periods.
Arneal centers, 5 shot goes wide. Playfair started in, it's picked up, however, and brought out by Starlikov. Sergei Starlikov putting it in the Buffalo end of the ice. Kalle Johansson picks it up back of the net. Turned it over to Makarov, centers it out in front. Here's Larry Arnott, turns, beats the blue line. Gusarov for the shot. Glove save, and Kluche holds on to it. They're 4 minutes and 40 seconds into the second period. The score is tied, 4-4. You're watching the Superpower Series on Sports Channel.
The National Hockey League is speed, action, and excitement. And you've got a front row seat to this next exciting matchup. Saturday, they're lighting up the Hollywood scoreboard. The great Wayne Gretzky and the high-scoring Kings collide with hard-checking forward Kevin Dineen and the Whalers. It's Hartford versus Los Angeles. Live at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central on Sports Channel America, Saturday.
Well, the fans of Memorial Auditorium have been treated to some display. 7 goals in that first period. The Soviets taking control of the game here in the second, tying it up. Now Gasarov's shot goes wide. Сейбрз moving up through center ice, out into the Soviet Union zone. Gusarov back. Niemchinov takes it back to the net. And Kasatonov. Alexei Kasatonov. Niemchinov comes over the line, drops it to Makarov. Makarov in on the left side, gets Housley turning, centered one out, it's tipped by Turgeon. Konstantinov on defense, into Makarov. Makarov got bumped and taken down by Doug Bodger. Bill Housley plays it to right wing, but Foligno into the center ice zone to Turgeon. Comes over the line, the puck knocked off his stick, Foligno has it. His drop pass, broken up neatly by Makarov. Makarov to Larry Arnott. Yensky out to join this line. Larry Arnott shot blocked. The rebound. Makarov can't get it in. Back of the net. It's Johansson playing it to the left side for Rupp. Lindy Rupp dumps it in from center ice.
Sabres defense, though, have not played the body at all against these speedy forwards. You know, they've got a good offensive defense core, but they've got to play better in their own end.
Now they get that opportunity. Parker's shot turned aside by Milnikov. Here's Kamensky at center ice. Chase to the corner. Playfair takes him back to the net. Wrestles into the ice. No penalty call. The puck turned over. Larry Arnott shot is blocked. Kluche down. They bang at it. It ends up in the far corner for Rupp. Lindy Rupp to Parker. Puts it in the Soviet zone. Milnikov steers it aside. Alikov moves it out of the zone. Sabres trying to get back in. Can't do it. Delayed offside. In effect here now is called with 13.5 minutes remaining in this second period. The clock continued to run for a couple of moments. You're watching the NHL Soviet Union on the Superpower Series.
Experience the completely redesigned Mercury Cougar. Call for your free Cougar preview kit. You'll discover all that's new about Cougar. To get your road test report, competitive comparison guide, Cougar technical glossary, 24-page full-color brochure, and more, call 1-800-446-1989 today.
Playfair all over Kamensky here. Fortunately didn't get a penalty. Throws him to the ice, but the good chance comes to Larry Arnott. He's right in the slot area. Here it is right here. He lets it go, and Kluche makes another good save.
Larry Arnott still looking for his first goal in this series. Kamensky, interestingly, is out there on that line with Makarov and Larry Arnott. This is Zalabukin. Larry Zalabukin taken to the ice by Mike Ramsey. Davidoff moves into the puck. Now gets some help in the form of Chernik. Went to center one. It comes out in front of the net. Grabbed by Kluche, and there's no further play. Rick Vide having words with one of the Soviets. It's Fetisov, the big defenseman.
They're strong, though. Mike Ramsey's one of the stronger defensemen. in the league when he's in the corner. He plays the body. We saw he was all over with the Soviet forward and really had a hard time even controlling him.
Remind you again that our question of the night is, would you like to see the Stanley Cup champs play a European champion to determine a world title? 75 cents per call. If you say yes, you would like to see that, 1-900-300-6311. If you're opposed, 1-900-300-6312. Again, there is a 75-cent per call charge. Decide whether or not you would like to see the Stanley Cup champs against the Soviets or a European team for a world title. We'll have the results following the game tonight on Sports Nightly. 4-4 is the score in Buffalo. Satonov went back to the net, lays it up the wing, out of the reach of Bianca. Christian Ruchu recovers and dumps it right back in again. It was knocked down by Gusarov across to the right side and shot into the Buffalo zone by Koschekin. Ruchu banks it off the glass to Ramsey to the line. Gusarov held it in, lays it behind the net. Ruchu gives it to Housley. He and Ramsey were there together. Now Housley finds some room and starts out. Minnesota native comes over the Soviet line with a pass to Turgeon, trying to cut in, and his shot went wide. Foligno has just come out on a player change. Chases it to the corner. Foligno goes back to the net now, tries a wraparound that won't go. Foligno battles for the puck, got it to Turgeon. Turgeon, checked by Gusarov. Foligno right in to take the body. Turgeon trying to control the puck. Gusarov all over him. Turgeon goes back to the net, right into Kasatonov, and it's moved up the board. The Imchinov is down on the ice. He has been shaken up. We pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Superpower Face-Off Series.
Nothing tastes as festive, zesty, Latin as the new guacamole bacon cheeseburger from Carl's Jr. Char-broiled with 2 strips of crisp bacon and rich, creamy guacamole. Olay! The new guacamole bacon cheeseburger for a limited time only at Carl's Jr.
Nemchinov coming back to the Soviet bench. Let's see what happened in the Soviet zone.
There's Donnelly coming in. It's Donnelly's stick that strikes the Nemchinov right in the face area. He goes down. Fortunately, McCreary was on the other side and didn't see it. Donnelly was also cut a little bit, so it must have happened previous to that.
The Soviets have a trainer. You saw the doctor momentarily working on him at the bench. They also have a psychologist traveling with the team. There are several people whose duties we do not know officially, but they are regarded as very important on this tour. I guess we could read between the lines, huh?
And they're always with the players.
Always. Mentioned in the first period, the players will not go home until Thursday night. They'll leave from Washington. Remember a story a few years ago that we'll try and relate later on. Davidoff with the puck here. Dumps it in deeper. Housley gets to it and starts out. A few seasons ago, after one of these superpower series, when they went to go home, Aeroflot decided that they had too much luggage. It was overweight. They asked the National Hockey League to foot the bill for the excess baggage. The league said no. The Soviets came up with enough rubles, finally, to get the jeans and the stereos and the records and everything else back home.
That's when they left Washington. That's right.
Now Starikov at center ice. To Bikov, and it's offside as they moved into the Buffalo end of the ice.
Milnikov does not stop a lot of shots that are thrown around the boards. If the Sabres want to get some pressure in the Soviet zone, throw them along the sideboards and get around behind the net, because sometimes he doesn't come out. He was fortunate there to hit a bad bounce and stayed behind the net, but they have always been reluctant to come out and play pucks behind the net.
Now he watches they make a change. Bikov comes in to take the face-off. Kamiensky is on the left side. Omatov over on right wing, so Tikhonov is coaching like Scotty Bowman used to. He is shaking up his line, juggling a lot of people tonight. Some of that, of course, because of injury. The game is tied midway through the second period. It's 4-4 at Buffalo as Bikov handles the puck outside the blue line. Molotov with it now. Were you the first that you recall to do all what? Look out, here's Seesaw moving in. The puck knocked away, and Shepard clears the zone. I was going to ask, were you the first that did all that juggling of line, Scotty?
No, it's long before me. I'm not going to take the blame for that one.
Broadcaster's nightmare. Coaches like you, Arbor, and some of the great ones. Molotov centering it back. Fetisov put it right between Kamensky's skates. Larry Kamensky having a little nap in the Buffalo end of the ice.
Milnikov's been resting this first 10 minutes. He's hardly had a shot.
2 shots for the Sabres, that's all. Now both teams in the middle of player changes. Satonov gave it to Zelepukin into the center ice zone. Puck ends up in the Buffalo territory. Mike Ramsey dumps it down the boards. They rule the Soviets could have played it. Satonov does. Holt comes in to forecheck. Chernik turns, heads up the middle. Pass instead goes to Guzerov this time. And he dumps it down the ice. Ramsey is back. Mike Ramsey trying to move it out of the zone. Hit Parker, ends up in the corner. Here's Zelepukin walking out of the corner. The backhander, Kluche the save, and there's no further play. We pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Superpower Face-Off Series on Sports Channel America.
All over Southern California, thousands of shoppers are making a change for the better to Ralph's and the Giant. They're changing for lower prices, and they're changing for higher standards. Plus, this week, you can make a change for these better buys. Clean up with great savings on Bold and Tide detergent. A 42-ounce box is only $1.99. Save on assorted varieties of Ragu spaghetti sauce. A 32-ounce jar is just $1.69. And Bounce fabric softener, regular, unscented, or with stain guard is specially priced at only $1.99. Change for the better to Ralph's and the Giant.
The goaltending change. You look at Jacques Luce at the Buffalo bench. He's replaced now by Darren Pupa at the 11 mark. He just came up with a big save on Zelepukin right here.
2-on-1. Ramsey went to the other side, and Luce was able to handle Zelepukin on a backhand shot. A lot of turnovers by the Sabres defensemen. But now with the goalie change, I'm sure that Ted Sater maybe had this in mind, depending on what kind of a game it was, felt that Luce's had enough work tonight, give some work to Pupa. His last start was in New Jersey, played only the first 2 periods, and was relieved by Cloutier in that 5-4 loss last Friday, and then Cloutier won the game in Toronto.
So Darren Pupa gets an opportunity to warm up before the puck is put in play again. The Soviets just standing around, and at the bench you have a look at Viktor Tikhonov. He's 58 years of age now. He played for 11 seasons in Moscow with the Dynamo club. Do you know that his wife is an attorney, Tatiana? He has a son, Vasily, as well, who plays for a second division team in the Soviet Union. Victor had not won a major tournament from 1986 until the Soviets won the gold medal in Calgary in February of '88.
There's a great Soviet player beside him, now the assistant coach, Boris Mikhailov, who wore number 13 and was such a great player. But, you know, when there was another coach, Ursunov, that used to coach with Tikkanen, and the media, when they were, after seeing these guys look so dour, they called Tikkanen Smiles and the other guy Chuckles.
There are a few more smiles from Victor these days. I mentioned earlier.
Well, the pressure's off. That's right. He's coached so long, but there was a lot of pressure on him. Had a couple of bad years. Lost the, I think, the World Championship one year.
Smiles and chuckles.
Of course, lost the Olympics in 1980 as well. That was the big loss to the United States.
And back in our studio tonight was a very big part of that, Mike Urizioni. I'm Jakes McDonald with Scotty Bowman here at Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. 4-4 is the score. Buffalo led 4-1 at one time, and now the cross-ice pass. Zelepukin moves in, shoots it, and went wide. Zelepukin has had a couple of big chances to get this lead back to the Soviets. They had led 1-0 early in this hockey game. Now the Sabres. Benoit Hogue played it to the right side. Anderson putting it in the Soviet zone. Satonov got knocked off the puck. Guzerov is right there. Guzerov is the one Soviet player who has the largest collection of hockey pucks. All the players on this team, everywhere he goes, he has to get another puck. Housley let it go to the corner. Right back of the net for Parker. To the left side for Rutu. Centered one. It's grabbed and held by the goaltender Milnikov. basketball excitement comes your way tomorrow on Sports Channel America. That's when sophomore Kevin Barry, the combo of Kevin Barry and Derek Canada, lead Army into a battle against Jasper Walker and the talented squad of St. Peter's. That action starting at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central, right here on Sports Channel America. Check your local listings for the regional game in your area.
Soviets got a little careless in their own end. Parker was 1 against 4, came up with a loose puck. Housley went right to the front of the net the way Kasatonov scored in the first period and just about tipped it in.
They have the fourth line up now for Central Red Army. And they move the puck smartly because Jikin comes in, is taken off the puck. There'll be a penalty. Roger taking a man down. The referee, Bill McCreary, spotted something else.
I think it's on Housley for tripping. It was a 2-on-2. Housley lost the puck just outside the Soviet line, and Bodger handled his man well, but Housley's in for tripping.
So the Soviets have an opportunity now on the power play.
Housley, 2 minutes more tripping.
They have a hold of him right there. Yes, there it would have. Well, Housley was actually caught. It would have been a 2-on-1.
On the night, this will be the third power play for the Soviets. You look at Phil Housley in the penalty box.
Leads the Sabres in shots on goal for a defenseman, 109 in just 42 games.
Wow. Demyensky gets the puck back to Starikov. Ramsey ran into him, sent him flying. Soviets keep it into a Buffalo zone, however. Larry Ernoff sets up back of the net. Larry Ernoff centered one. It's tipped under Pupa. Comes right back into the pads and play is called. They're claiming that the puck was still loose when the whistle sounded.
But they're so great at the decoy play. And you see Larionov, they seem to be looking out at the blue line. They're going for a play right at the goal crease. I think it was Kamensky was there, and his stick was on the ice, and here's Larionov. He tips it, and Pupa makes the save, doesn't know where it is. It's able to be scrambled under him, but that's what the Soviets do so well. They decoy and decoy and decoy, but that forward, Kamensky, should not be allowed to stand there that long. Otherwise, he's going to tip one in like he did.
Yeah, if they were to come back to play tomorrow night, they'd get one pretty good, probably. Maybe even later in this period. Kamensky plays the puck back to Starikov when brink wide to Fetisov. Now to Larry Arnoff. To Starikov. In along the boards. This is Kamensky. Centers it across. That's Fetisov with it now. To Larry Arnoff. Finds some opening. Moves right in. Gives it to Fetisov. And he's beaten by Pupa. Good stop by Pupa as Fetisov blasted off the right way.
But it's hard to believe Larionov is right down the slot area. We see why he hasn't scored a goal in this series, although he's a great playmaker. He should have shot that puck.
Yes, he should have. And he's over the line again. Plays it to Fetisov. Drops it back to Makarov. Makarov moves in, pulls up. Gave it to Fetisov. Box defense set up. Cole moved over on Fetisov. Fetisov, constant motion. Now he comes back toward the blue line. Went brink wide to Kamensky to Starikov. Into Kamensky to Starikov on the left wing boards. Turns, plays it in off Larry Arnoff's stick. Here's Kamensky centering. It's under Bodger. Oh, scooped out of the goal mouth. What a stop by Pupa. The Soviets set up again. Makarov to Fetisov. Over it goes to Starikov. Back to the blue line. Fetisov fires one. Pupa pad save, and Hogue gets to the rebound. Flips it ahead to Parker, who's cleared it to center. 18 seconds left in Housley's tripping penalty, and the crowd reacts to the play of the Buffalo defense.
Great saves by Pupa, though, having to read to anticipate the play, but the Soviets worked it perfect and ended up with a 2-on-1 at the goal mouth.
Now Beekhoff drops it back. Fetisov comes over center ice. He's logged a lot of ice time tonight. Puts it deep in the Buffalo zone. Teams are at 6 aside again, and Foligno picks up the puck for the Sabres. His pass went off Turgeon's skates. Turgeon plays it away from Kasatonov. Housley in the Sabres, in the Soviet zone, I should say, was knocked down. Davidoff with the puck at center ice. He's across the line, stick handling, runs into traffic. Bodger knocks it outside the blue line. Now the Soviets set up again. Homatov cuts to right wing. The pass up the boards was there for him. He chases it into the Buffalo zone. Homatov with some speed. Gets checked as he went back to the net as Turgeon was right with him. Now it's Bodger trying the left side. The pass under the reach of his teammate. Not too far ahead of Mike Donnelly, and Kasatonov goes back. Gave it to Gusarov. Gusarov buys the right side. That's Homatov open. Biakin moves into the center ice zone, as does Bikov. Homatov carrying the puck down, dumps it in. Bupa moves out of the net. All three Soviet players went into forecheck. Visserov here at the left point works the puck in a little deeper. Bikov gets knocked down back of the net. Сейбрз moving around to Shepard, and he's been able to clear the zone. 4 minutes and 24 seconds remaining in the second period. They've had only the one goal scored, then by Bikov back at 1:16 to tie it 4-4. Malakov dropped it back in. Homatov tries the right side. Slipped in by Biakin and cleared right back out again. Ray Shepard put it in the Soviet zone. Malakov went to the right side. This is Chernik. He's Zelapukin and Biakin move over the line. Chernik goes to the corner, rounds the net with it. Chernik feeds the blue line. Konstantinov shot. The rebound. Pupa got in front of Zelapukin's stride. Konstantinov at the blue line. Plays it into the corner. Zelapukin gets bumped. Shepard battling for it, went off Konstantinov, and now it's cleared out into center ice.
Playing that funny game, the Soviets, Jake. There's one puck, and they've got it all night, especially this second period.
And now the Sabres take over, but are offside as they moved into the Soviet end of the ice. 3.5 minutes remaining in the second period. We've been treated to a dandy again tonight at Memorial Auditorium as the Soviets and the National Hockey League complete the series, and you're watching it right here on Sports Channel.
The making of freeze-dried Taster's Choice coffee. Search the world for the finest coffee beans. Grind them. And at the peak of freshness, brew the richest, most aromatic coffee you can brew. Then freeze it. Freeze-drying locks in the fresh brewed aroma and flavor until you release it. For a truly superior cup of coffee, the choice for taste is Taster's Choice.
Taste it.
The draw, the Sabres moved into the Soviet zone. Rusu took a dive. There is no call on the play because Chika comes back. And to the right side, and Davidov, he got run down on the boards. Housley moves it to Rusu, put it in the middle. Kadirov was there and was stripped of the puck. Now Housley runs into Koschekin at center ice. Roger shot one high off the glass, stays in play. Back into Fetisov. Arneal picked him up. Stole the puck. Couldn't get a shot away. Another rarity to see Fetisov have a cross-ice pass intercepted like that. The Soviets and the Buffalo Sabres are tied 4-4. Sabres haven't been able to generate anything this period until just a moment ago. And here's Arneal handling the puck. Scott Arneal centered. Fetisov got that play and then lost it to Housley. Housley a wraparound. Here's 5. Centered it between the skates of Arneal. Housley gets to it. Down on one knee and is passed it off by Starikov. He plays it out of the zone. Back comes 5.
Well, the crowd's buzzing, and that's something the Sabres have to do. Is we see the Soviets in their end are not much better than the Sabres, but haven't been able to be in there enough. The Sabres should take some confidence on this one.
Now Buffalo moves in offside. 4-4 is the score. You're watching the Superpower Series on Sports Channel.
It learned to run in the Black Forest of Germany. But unlike others, it also learned to be nice to people. Scorpio, the German sedan that's comfortable without forgetting what it learned in the forest. Scorpio, German performance you can be comfortable with.
Now get $2,000 customer cash on 1988 Scorpio from Lincoln Mercury.
In Sweden for 5 seasons, very familiar with the European style of hockey. You saw him talking to his troops at the Buffalo bench.
It was Christian Ruud who could try to get that one up the middle. It was intercepted, and that's one thing against the Soviets in the neutral zone. Stay away from the middle.
Now Ruff plays it behind the net. Parker in after. Jeff Parker centers off Starikov skates, or Kasatonov skates, excuse me. Lindy Ruff reaches in. Got the puck to Hogue. To Parker, coming in off the blue line is Anderson. He's taken off the puck by Kasatonov. Visserov holds it against the boards. Bill McCreary can see the puck. It's still in play. What a battle for it on the end boards. Out in front, Ruff was knocked down. He gets up complaining. In the meantime, Anderson is pushing. He and Kasatonov. Biakin is having words with Ruff. Benoit pushing and shoving.
Well, certainly 25 Biakin and Ruff. They've turns knocking each other down in front of the net. But the referee was concentrating on the play. As you know, in the National League, Jigs, they don't call those plays around that are on the board. They don't blow that quick whistle. And sometimes I think it causes further problems. But he let it go and let it go. Here it is right now. They're milling and milling. And there's 22. There's Ruff. Well, it was actually the defenseman, I think. It was Larry Anoff that Ruff knocked down. And then finally, 25 Biakin knocked Ruff down. But face-off coming outside.
They got the puck just outside the Soviet blue line. There's Biakin back on the bench. Victor Tikhonov very animated in his discussion now with his team. The two of you ever talk after having coached against one another, Scotty?
With an interpreter. That's the difficult part, you know, that he doesn't speak English, doesn't speak Russian. And, you know, we talk a bit with signs. I saw him coming in tonight, and he was pointing to my crest, wondering what team I was with. I said, no. I had to look and show him a television set. I said, that's where I am.
Yeah, he caught on immediately. I was interested, too, the way Mikhailov came right over to talk to you. Certainly remember Scotty Bowman, I would think, from a lot of coaching experiences. Primarily, maybe, that would it be New Year's Eve in Montreal, that great 3-3 tie?
Yeah, he scored one of the 3 goals. He was a real star also in that Challenge Cup. He just about buried us in the second game.
Well, that was the series in Madison Square Garden, huh, in 80?
Yep.
79, I guess it was. Bikov over the line, dumped it in. Johansson in. As they go back in the net, Turgeon trying to tie up Kemietzky. The puck goes to Homatov. Put one in front of the goal, steered aside by Pupum. Got it up to Mike Foligno. Foligno out into the center ice zone. Johansson plays it rink wide. And there is Starikov in the Soviet defense. Up to Bikov. Dropped it back. And quick shot blocked by Pupum. Homatov got it up high on the blocking glove side. Now the Sabres come to center. Rutzer with the puck. The pass to the right side to Housley. Housley looks for help. Got it across to Arneal, and it's broken up. Out come the Soviets. Kamiensky to Fetisov. He's offside. We talked early tonight about how the Soviets very rarely go offside. Either the offside pass or, in that case, getting ahead of the puck carrier at the blue line, but they've done it.
Where they really make it tough, too, though, Jigs, is because of the defense getting involved in the attack. When you're in your own end, they get you running around. We saw a classic example most of this second period. The Sabres trying to chase different guys, and in our league, oftentimes it's only a couple of forwards, and they pinch in with both defensemen. I guess it's the confidence factor that they can get back with the speed. They have an awful lot of patience. It's amazing. It looks like they're going to take a shot, and they'll wait and wait until somebody gets in a better position. They move the puck.
And we're going to get an opportunity to watch more of it. There's still the third period to go. This game is tied at 4. The Challenge Cup, the Sports Channel Friendship Cup is on the line. The Challenge Cup, of course, is 79. And now some jostling. Linesman Ron Finn got between the two players. They're still shoulder to shoulder in the center ice area. Ron Finn pushing Ruutu away, directing him toward the dressing room. Zelapukin right over at Ruutu.
Well, he challenged Kasatonov initially, I think, and there was talk that Kasatonov, if there is a Soviet that doesn't like the extra aggressive play, it's Kasatonov. People that played in the Canada Cup always remarked about that.
Well, the two teams filing off toward the dressing room areas now with a 4-4 tie up on the board, and the Soviets getting the only goal of that second period to tie it. So with the Friendship Cup still on the line here, if the game should end in a tie, the Soviets would win it. Buffalo, all the Sabres need to do is win the game, and then the NHL would receive the Friendship Cup as provided by Sports Channel. And if the Soviets win the game, then it's automatic. A win or a tie, the Friendship Cup would go to the Soviets. In that period, the Soviet Union, Central Red Army team, had 14 shots on goal. The Buffalo Sabres had only 3. So your totals, 24-15. The Soviet Union out shooting Buffalo thus far. The goal scored at the 1:16 mark. Bikov is 5th of this series. Homatov and Kamiensky had the assists on that goal. So we're tied at 4 at the end of 2 periods at Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. Standing by in our Sports Channel studios, Mike Urizioni and Lee Seidman.
Thanks, Jigs. 3 of the NHL's 4 division leaders are on the ice tonight. Scores and highlights ahead.
and I'm Mike Ruzioni. I'll have a closer look at why the Soviets have been vulnerable around their own net.
Expert analysis, scores, and highlights Sports Nightly after
Only because...
Quality leather, go see Cow. Chairs, sofas, and recliners, go see Cow. 1,000 colors to select. You shall factory direct. Go see Cow, go see Cow, go see Cow.
Thanks, Cal. Hi, I'm Steve Arnold, owner of Leather Factory, where you can buy quality leather furniture. Come on in, pick a style and color. We'll make it the way you want it, as a sofa or a sofa bed, with or without buttons. For your home or office, make the Leather Factory your first choice for quality, selection, and factory direct prices.
Hey, if you don't want quality leather from the Leather Factory, it's no skin off on my back.
Are holiday high prices behind us? They are at ETV and Encinitas with a year-end clearance sale featuring Mitsubishi video components. Look at this Mitsubishi 60-inch giant widescreen rear projector with stereo sound in a beautiful oak cabinet. Or these TV monitors, stereo, cable-ready, high-resolution pictures in sizes from 20 to over 40 inches. New state-of-the-art VCRs with stereo and all the latest features. Year-end low prices on Mitsubishi video at ETV and Encinitas, Coast Highway south of the Lumberyard Center.
All alone, in front, he shoots, he scores!
Attention fans, the Southern California Mitsubishi Motors dealers proudly announce the On the Road with the Kings contest. You could win a new Mitsubishi Mighty Max 4x4 truck, courtesy of your Southern California Mitsubishi Motors dealers. You'll also join the Los Angeles Kings on a road trip when they battle the New Jersey Devils and New York Rangers in late February. You'll fly a round trip to New York, courtesy of today's TWA. Find out how good they are to New York and stay at the beautiful Sheraton Center provided by Sheraton, the hospitality people of ITT. To enter, fill out the entry form available at your participating Southern California Mitsubishi Motors dealers or send your name, address, and phone number on a postcard to On the Road with the Kings, 401 South Prairie, Suite 104, Inglewood, California, 90301. Entries must be received by February 15th.
Nichols to Duchesne, he scores!
Don't get shut out. Break away to your participating Southern California Mitsubishi Motors dealers and enter today.
Watching Sports Channel America's coverage of the Superpower Face-Off Series on the Prime Ticket Network. Sports television at its best.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly Studios. A special welcome to Florida viewers who just saw the Florida-South Florida game. I'm Lee Zeidman along with Micah Ruzioni. The Soviets have tied the Buffalo Sabres at 4-4 with just one goal scored in that second period. But the one thing we've seen of the Sabres that other NHL teams haven't been so successful at is taking the game to the Red Army.
You know, it's been interesting about how this whole series has gone and things that we've talked about the Soviets, what they do well, what they don't do well. And one thing that I remember Herb Brooks talked about throughout the series was what the Soviets don't like to do is they don't like to move people around from in front of the net. They let people stand around. I remember Herb used to call that bloody nose alley. If you were standing in front of the net and you were going to wait for a rebound, expect to get knocked down, expect to get hit pretty good. That's one thing the Soviets do not do. Let's take a look at a couple of replays, although they were from the first period, but goals were scored because the Soviets just don't move people out in front of the net. There's the first goal by Foligno. That made it 1-0, but then again, see the people standing around in front of the net? Nobody's moving them out. Nobody's knocking him down. Again, another rebound. They stay with the puck, and he bangs it in. You cannot do that. They cannot do that, and that's one of the things that the Soviets have been vulnerable with that we talked about. They let people stand around in front of the net, and you keep staying there, and the rebound's there, you're going to bang some pucks in.
So while it was the Soviets who scored the only goal from that second period, the Sabres are getting their opportunities. Sports Channel America's Friendship Cup is on the line tonight. The Soviets can clinch the cup with a win or a tie. They lead the series, but should the Sabres come through with a victory tonight, the series would be tied at 6-6-2. In the event of a tie, we'll go to goals scored as the tiebreaker, and that would give the National Hockey League the Friendship Cup. As you took a look there, you saw that the NHL is 3 goals ahead, 45-42 of the Soviets, and that would be the tiebreaker, and the cup would go to the National Hockey League.
Well, it's funny when you play with the tiebreaker and that goals for, goals against. I remember, again, my experience with that situation was the Olympic Games. We were going into the game with West Germany. If we beat West Germany by 8 goals, we would have come in first and then played Finland in the first round instead of the Soviets. We go into the game thinking we're going to win by 8 goals. We're trailing 2-0, and panic sets in, and we ended up just winning the game. But it's an interesting format because now you're playing with numbers.
And we'll see how the numbers work out in the third period. Regardless of the winner, we're still going to have an ongoing argument over who's the best in the world when it comes to hockey. With that in mind, here's tonight's question for the fan call. Would you like to see the Stanley Cup champions play a European championship team to determine a world champion? If you say yes, dial 1-900-300-6311. If you say no, dial 1-900-300-6312. Dial carefully. Each call costs 75 cents, and some proceeds will go to the benefit Armenian earthquake victims. Well, Mike, I'll save you 75 cents. What's your vote?
Well, it's an interesting format. Which European champion? Are we going to include Sweden? Are we going to include Finland? Are we going to include Czechoslovakia? Or are you going to take the Soviet Red Army? And Scotty Bowman talked about it at the beginning of the show. Are you going to take the Soviet Red Army team and call them a team? In essence, they are almost the Soviets' all-star team. If you want to break up the Red Army team, let them play their own championship against a team from the Elite League in Sweden, a team from the Elite League in West Germany, and all the other countries that have Elite Leagues, Switzerland, Italy, France. Take those teams together and play. Hey, it would be fun, but I don't think you'll ever see that.
I feel like a political correspondent. Are you for it or against it?
I'm against it because I don't think you're going to see the Soviet Central Red Army team disbanded. They're always going to be an all-star team.
Yes, and they're so good they make it boring. We're going to take a break, then run down the NHL action of the night.
Someone once said the best way to follow football action is to follow the quarterback's arm. This quarterback's arm belongs to Jim Kelly, and he's holding a copy of the Sporting News, which is really the best way to follow football action.
I've been reading the Sporting News for 12 years now, and when it comes to inside information, this is the next best thing to a coach's meeting. The Sporting News, for total team coverage, college and pro. More football facts and stats than any other sports weekly. Plus hot news of baseball, basketball, and hockey. Take it from this quarterback. The Sporting News is America's favorite way to follow football action. And now, delivered right to your door at a 75% savings.
Call 1-800-453-1905 and get 50 big issues of the Sporting News for 4 easy payments of just $7.47. You'll save 75% off the cover price, save 50% off the regular subscription rate. So call now 1-800-453-1905. That's 1-800-453-1905.
Patrick Division-leading New York Rangers are unbeaten in 7 straight. They're on home ice with a rejuvenated New Jersey Devils team. Let's go to Madison Square Garden, pick it up second period. Rangers come ahead as Kelly Kissio gets his second goal of the game. Kissio puts in the feed from Brian Mullen, and the Rangers jump in front of the Devils 4-3. Elsewhere tonight, Vancouver and Toronto. The Maple Leafs leading the Canucks 1-0. In the second period, Leafs have the worst record in their conference, and Montreal and Detroit matching the leaders from the Adams and Norris divisions, tied at 2 in the third period. Tomorrow night on Sports Channel America, Wayne Gretzky meets his old team when the Kings collide with the Oilers, 10:30 Eastern Time. The NHL slapped Boston coach Terry O'Reilly with a 4-game suspension and a $1,000 fine for instigating an ugly incident at New Jersey last week. O'Reilly verbally abused Devils forward Jim Korn after a 5-1 Boston victory. Korn responded with violence. The two had to be pulled apart by coaches and security. Korn slapped with 2 games and $500, while each club must pay an additional $5,000 for what the league calls an embarrassing altercation. That's the news. We'll send you back to Buffalo, period 3, after this.
All over Southern California, thousands of shoppers are making a change for the better to Ralph's and the Giant. They're changing for lower prices, and they're changing for higher standards. Plus, this week, you can make a change for these better buys. Clean up with great savings on Bold and Tide detergent. A 42-ounce box is only $1.99. Save on assorted varieties of Ragu spaghetti sauce. A 32-ounce jar is just $1.69. And Bounce fabric softener, regular, unscented, or with stain guard, is specially priced at only $1.99. Change for the better to Ralph's and the Giant.
If you could choose your own body, which would you choose? Remember, the perfect body is balanced. Fit on the inside. inside, as well as the outside. So choose the body that's balanced with Avion Natural Spring Water. Avion, with the unique balance of minerals from the French Alps.
If you're a sports fan, you ought to know about the King Slap Shop. Located in Westchester near the LA airport, the Slap Shop has everything you'll need to dress like a king. You'll find the best in hockey fashion, from authentic jerseys to t-shirts, sweaters, jackets, and more. You'll also find hats, decals, pennants, and other hockey souvenirs. The King Slap Shop, 8808 South Sepulveda in Westchester, located in the All-Year Sports Den. Call for a free catalog, area code 213-215-1084.
Time to return to the Auto Buffalo. Game tied at 4 as we enter the third period. Jigs McDonald and Scotty Bowman standing by. Mike?
Yeah, Scotty, I'm wondering, I listened to you and Jigs talk at the start of the game about how important the game might be for the Buffalo Sabres versus the Soviet team. It's 4-4. The intensity has been awfully good. Now this game really means something, doesn't it?
It sure does. I think, Mike, the Sabres have to find some way to play a few minutes at least in the Soviet end. We had a glimpse of it near the end of the second period when they had the Soviets running around. You know full well that's the weakness of any club in their own end, but they played far too much in the Sabres end. They were able to generate the offense. Their defense came in, and the Sabres started running around, and I thought real good goaltending by Cloutier and then later by Pupa.
Yeah, the period was certainly dominated by the Soviets. You pointed out the goaltending change, and you pointed out to me during the intermission that we've got two goaltenders in the nets now, both working on shutouts. But certainly the Buffalo goaltending was spectacular. But the goal that the Soviets scored, tie it up. It's a matter of taking the puck away from one of the Sabres.
They sure were. You see, Housley kind of misses it, and here's the little pass in front. And boy, does I think it's number 15, Biakin. Bikov, he just puts it in after a real good pass. But Housley and Turgeon, they weren't strong on the puck, and that was their big goal to tie it up. And from that point on, the Sabres' confidence level was down, and this was a good save here. I think you'll see Kamensky. Bodger blocks the first one. He goes on the back, and watch the right-hand glove of Pupa. He just reaches up. Luckily, it wasn't higher, but a good save by Pupa to keep it tied. And still, I guess, another good chance, after that, a shot from the point. And there's a little tip here right in front. And you'll see it, just number 10, just tips it up, and Pupa, he's a big goalie, he's down, but he's naturally covers more of the net than Cloutier, but it was a big scoring period for the Soviets.
Watching those replays, you saw them go to the backhand time and time again on the rebounds. They do that so well. That's one of the arts that the National Hockey League players perhaps will have to work on more.
Yeah, they can go backhand or forehand.
4-4 is the score, and we'll return to the Memorial Auditorium. Third period action right after these messages.
At the Oak Store, there are a few things you can't find. We don't have cheap, poorly built furniture, and there are no high-pressure salespeople. What you will find is high-quality, locally manufactured, beautiful oak furniture and thousands of country accessories. What you will experience is the relaxed atmosphere of a family-owned and operated business. What you will enjoy is a furniture store completely out of the ordinary. The Oak Store, Felicita Village, Escondido. Welcome to our world of country.
Heller Ford Suzuki is #1 and growing, and here are 10 reasons why. Count 'em, Misty. 47 years of serving San Diego County. Over 500 cars and trucks. Low factory financing. Convenient service. First-time buyer programs. Factory-sponsored discounts. Low down payments. Easy terms. Friendly people. And low prices.
You got that happiness guarantee from Heller Ford Suzuki.
Come on out today. Tell them Misty sent ya.
Take I-15 to Valley Parkway West in the Escondido Auto Park.
Heller Ford Suzuki.
McDonald with Scotty Bowman and Gary Thorne here at the Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. You see the huddle developing around the Soviet goal as we get ready for the third period. 4-4 is the score. There's Darren Pupa. Came into the game at the 11 mark of the second period. Ildikov replaced Galashimov for the start of period number 2 here tonight. During our first intermission, you heard Gary Thorne talking with the executive director of the National Hockey League Players Association, Mr. Alan Eagleson. They talked about the two teams that will be going to the Soviet Union next fall, and Sports Channel is planning to cover that action for you. You've seen a great series here, the Superpower Series 88-89. We've been happy to bring you the action, and we hope that come the fall, September, when the two teams go to the Soviet Union, to be able to bring you that action as well. Sports Channel America Friendship Cup on the line as the puck went back to Ramsey. The right side, it's shot in by Johansson. Starnikov with it, back to the Soviet goal. Comes back to the point, Johansson with it. That's one fly, then put high and wide of the net. Makarov here on the right side, had it knocked loose. Rutu centers the puck. Johansson blew in, but was knocked away from him by Kozchikhin. Ramsey back to his own goal, lost the puck. Makarov centers, went off the goalpost. What an opportunity for the Soviets. Nemchikov, who was hurt in the second period, now keeps the puck in for Makarov. To the corner for Kamensky, centers. That went wide of the net. Nemchikov drops it back. Kozchikhin, who is the other forward on this line. Kozchikhin comes off the boards, gets turned around by Johansson, and the Sabres clear the zone. But again, the Soviets are right there. Makarov is checked. Now Rutu bumped solidly by Fetisov at center ice. 5 put back after Fetisov. Hold up loss between these two teams. Kamensky picks up the puck. Kamensky trying to go around Housley. Now behind the net, he's knocked off the puck. Bill Housley unable to pick it up. Kamensky does. Turned it over to Turgeon. Up along the boards it goes. Solid hitting by Donnelly as he bumped Nikov. Nikov got it back. Here's Kamensky, and he's checked as he went to the front of the net. Buffalo able to clear it out. There's a lot on the line here in the third period with a 4-4 tie. The Soviets over the line. It's broken up by Turgeon. Now Donnelly's pass. Well, off Kasatonov. And intercepted by Bikov in the second effort. Kamensky down the left side. Tried to play it around Housley, and it didn't work. Loose puck. Housley backs it to the boards. Held in by Gusarov. Put it in the corner. Kamensky battling for it. It's picked up by Homatov. Put it out in front, and the player moving in. Bikov was well covered. Long shot kicked aside by Pupa. Picked up by Polino. Polino down right wing. Moves it in around Gusarov. The puck knocked loose. Goes right to the front of the net and just wide of Milnikov. One thing you'll notice about Milnikov, Scotty, he stays well back in that crease.
Yes, Sabres are making a point, though, of taking the man much more in this start of this third period. They have to because these guys are so slippery.
Now they peel off the boards in the Buffalo zone. The play broken up by Rupp. Chernik got it again. Chernik fires one that's blocked. Here's outside the line. Rupp had a hold of Chernik. Finally, Chernik went down. The Sabres have to chase the puck one more time. 2.5 minutes has ticked off here in the third period. Parker puts the puck in the Soviet zone. Flying it after it was Rupp. Center and knocked loose and brought back by Nemchikov. Over center ice. The pass to Telepukin. Telepukin cuts to the left side. Trying to get around Playfair. He's checked at the last second. Telepukin recovered neatly. Put it in the corner. There'll be a penalty call coming up against Buffalo. Fetisov with a shot. Kicked out by Pupa. Brought back in offside. Makarov complaining. Not happy with that call, but the Soviets go to the power play. The Superpower Series. You're watching it exclusively on Sports Channel.
It was a 3-on-2 on the right side of the screen as the Soviet tries to go around. There's Parker, pulls down. He came back to make it a 3-on-3, but he pulled the guy down as the Soviet was getting ready to shoot.
Killing it off for Buffalo. Rutu up front along with Arneal. They have Johansson on one side of the defense, Ramsey on the other. Mike Ramsey, of course, very big part of that 1980 U.S. gold medal winning team. A team made of Mike Eruziones, Kenny Morrow, and so many others that come to mind immediately. Now the Soviets move over the line. Starnikov put it back to the net. Ramsey slaps it up the boards away from Fetisov. Will go right to Milnikov. Sergei Milnikov played it off to Sergei Makarov. Here's the captain. Stick into center ice. Over the line, cuts to the left side. Peacock went to the corner. The pass intercepted and cleared down the ice by Turgeon.
An awfully big lift. The first minute just about gone on this penalty killing. The young Sabre team have to get some confidence. They can get it right now.
Kamensky brings the puck over center ice. Into the Buffalo zone, chased by Foligno. He held it, then turned it over to Mike Foligno, and down the ice it goes. Good checking job. Turgeon and Foligno replaced now by Rupp and Hogue. Coming up is Casatona. Over the line, Peacock played it to Kamensky, took the pass at his skates. Larry Kamensky from top the boards, leads the blue line to Casatona. Kucherov for the shot, picked up by Pupa. The rebound is knocked down the ice by Lindy Rupp. 30 seconds to go, and Parker's interference penalty. Casatona taking the puck, throws it into center ice. Peacock went to the left side. Here's Homatov handling it down. Homatov drops it back. Casatona for the shot. He scores! Power play goal by the defenseman, Alexei Casatona.
Second of the game. He scored late in the first period. As he moved in, he showed a rocket for a shot. He got in the slot area. It was a Soviet on the other side that knocked down a defenseman. I think it was Kamensky on the other side. But watch this here. Right on the left side. We just missed it. But here's the shot coming in from number 6. He's down in the slot area, and they curl around, and finally the pass comes across. It was Biakin that threw it back, I think, and Kasatonov. They put about 3 shots right in the top corner, and he's just circling around. Here's Biakin. He drops the play back, gets Hope pulling away. Not much Halsey and Bodger can do, and he just blows it by Coop in the top corner. 5-4 Soviets.
Kasatonov, as Scotty said, is second in this game. That's 3 now during this tour for the Central Red Army team for defenseman Alexei Casatona. The Soviets have just iced the puck. The announcement now at Casatonov's goal as you look at number 11, Bigly Davidov. There's the goal scorer along with Makarov on the bench.
It's amazing, you know, how the defense for this Soviet Union continually get in, and they make it so difficult to get in from the standpoint of the Sabres. Johansson had a pretty good chance. All of a sudden, the forward was there to tip it away. So that's been the big difference, is the ability of guys like Fetisov and Kasatonov to get in there and really create scoring chances.
Peacock gets an assist with Homatov on Kasatonov's goal. 5-4, the Soviet Central Red Army team leading the Buffalo Sabres. Ron Finn in a discussion before the puck is dropped. Jernick was complaining about something, and now the Sabres go back to the Soviet goal. They wrap up Jernick. Metcalf is in the forecheck. The puck goes to Shepard. Ray Shepard hooked it out in front. Buffalo player there. Metcalf was pretty well covered, and here's Alapukin down the left side. He's picked up by Ramsey, then dropped it off, and the shot by Konstantinov is turned aside. Comes back to Molotov. His shot is blocked. Held it in, however, putting it in the corner. Scott Metcalf gets checked. Moving in is Anderson, tying up Alapukin. Greg Ramsey plays it up the boards. Soviets hold it in, and then turn it over, and Ramsey plays it out on the right side to Shepard. Shepard across the line, pulled up on Konstantinov. Drives around behind the net. Yemchinov. Makarov. Back to Malachi. Carries it to center. Shepard knocked it off the stick there. He gets loose. 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. And he scores!
Ray Shepard, 38 goals as a rookie a year ago. Not doing it this year, but shows how he can put the puck in the net. A turnover. That was the play. Makarov to the defenseman. He lost the puck right here. I think it was Bacalov that lost it, and he goes in. First, it looks like he's hesitating. He goes to his forehand and is able to put it right under the pad of the goaltender, Milnikov. And here's the turnover by number 7. Boy, Malakoff, he lost it. Here's Shepard now. The goal scorer comes in. He's thinking, take him out, and he did. Goes to his forehand, throws it under him. 5-5.
Shepard unassisted at the 6:03 mark. First Buffalo goal in this game since 15:46 of the opening period when the Sabres had taken a 4-1 lead. Now Makarov is knocked down by Ruchinu. Mayfair dumps it into the Soviet zone. That's the Tisov. Ruchinu gets to him immediately. The puck goes top 5 to Ruchinu. Turns at the
One of the sweetest memories I have is of going to the movies with you, Dad.
Oh, those were the days.
Oh, they were classics. Hollywood classics.
Hollywood casts?
They're still around. Where? Cable TV.
Cable TV? American movie classics. Just movies?
Great movies.
Movies like they used to be.
Classics.
American movie classics. Movies that last a lifetime. Call your cable company today.
The saber right in the middle of the screen. He's the decoy, but Scott Arneal, number 9, he gets this shot. He puts it high, it hits the shoulder of the goaltender, and finally the penalty for Niemczyov.
It's called at 6:41 of this third period. It's only the second power play opportunity that Buffalo has had tonight. Nazarov rolls the puck against the boards. They'll face it off to the circle to the left of Sergei Mildnikov.
Sabres change Housley and Bodger. Housley and Bodger play together, but on the power play, Housley goes on left defense. He tries to put that soft pass across. Bodger can shoot on the pass.
Now following the draw, Acetona is able to shoot it the length of the ice. Aaron Pukla leaves it for Bill Housley. Omatov chased him back to the net. Housley pulls away, comes over center ice, cuts to the right across the Soviet blue line, and on the brakes, then dumped it in. Kucherov going after it. Fine gets to the puck. Out of to Turgeon. He couldn't find Rutu as he moved out of the corner. Comes back to Bodger. Over to Housley. Housley tees it up, centers it back, and it's tipped outside the line by Homatov. Bodger now to Fine. Right side for Turgeon. Kucherov picks him up. Turgeon trying to complete the play. Centered. It's broken up in front, then turned over off Housley to Fine. Fine runs into the check of Homatov. The puck comes outside the line. Bacoff plays it to the right swing. Here's Homatov. Cuts to the left to Bacoff. He couldn't pick it up. Rick Fine had a knocked off his stick, but Bodger was right there. 50 seconds left in the Buffalo power play. The game tied 5-5. 12 minutes left in the third period. Rutu puts it back to the net. And it's slapped out of there into the center ice zone by Bacoff. Homatov picks it up for Telebukin, excuse me, and he's checked. And Waho comes into the open wing. But after it, Konstantinov picks it up. Steps over the Buffalo line with a quick shot into the pads of Pukla. He left it for Johansson. Sabres start out of the power play. Shepard, who tied the game, has put it high over the glass and up into the seats. 11 minutes and 38 seconds left in the third period.
Really weren't able to generate much. Housley had the best chance. They were guilty of not shooting the puck. That one pass too many, and the Soviets so dangerous on this shorthanded situation. I think it takes away from your offensive defenseman.
We put it to you again. You, our Sports Channel America audience tonight. Would you like to see the Stanley Cup champs play a European champion and declare a world title each year? 75 cents to vote, either yes or no. You see the numbers on your screen. Remember, there is a 75-cent per call charge. We want your opinion on whether you would like to see the Stanley Cup champs and the team from probably the Soviet Union decide a world title each year. Chernik in after a puck in his own zone. Shepard got it back to the net to Foligno. The teams are at 6 aside again. Mike Ramsey dumped one behind the net. Ramsey and after Chernik had a hold of his stick. Now the puck is cleared down the ice. And Hogue will chase it. Lupo out of the net, leads it for Hogue. Karov put into Voracek. The pass to Foligno, plays it up the right wing. Now to Hogue, comes over the line with Shepard. Hogue gets double teamed. Knocked the puck behind the net. Starikov plays it to the right wing side. And the Sabres had an opportunity there, but it hits Hogue. Now comes to the right side. As Sheehan leaves the puck. Starikov played it to Fatizov. Has turned it over in the center ice area. Lindy Ruff has just come out on a player change. Lost it. Antonov across the line. Dropped it. A Karov shot steered off the stick of the goalkeeper and up into the seats. Pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Superpower Face-Off series on Sports Channel America.
All over Southern California, thousands of shoppers are making a change for the better to Ralph's and the Giant. They're changing for lower prices, and they're changing for higher standards. Plus, this week, you can make a change for these better buys. Clean up with great savings on Fold and Tide detergent. A 42-ounce box is only $1.99. Save on assorted varieties of Ragu spaghetti sauce. A 32-ounce jar is just $1.69. And Bounce fabric softener, regular, unscented, or with stain guard is specially priced at only $1.99. Change for the better to Ralph's and the Giant.
You're watching Sports Channel America's coverage of the Superpower Face-Off Series on the Prime Ticket Network. Sports television at its best.
At Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. The score is tied 5-5. 10 minutes, 28 seconds remaining in the third period of this, the final game of the Superpower Series, 88-89. Kamensky on the left side, Baykoff in the middle. Homatov on right wing for the Soviets. Ruff dumps it in for Buffalo. Went around the boards, got away from Priestley. Kamensky comes up the wing. He gets checked at that point. Loose puck, Baykoff over the line. Can't get it to Homatov, who is wide open now. Homatov for the shot. Blocked and covered by Pupa. Boy, Homatov just floats in out of nowhere. Nobody picked him up, Scotty. He's wide open.
Looked like Playfair was going to get to the loose puck. He lost it, and finally the forwards came across from the other side. Like you mentioned, Homatov came right across, and Playfair had this puck all the way. It was his puck, and that extra effort by the Soviet might have put him off stride, and finally it came across, and a good scoring chance, and Pupa again looking very sharp in the nets for Buffalo.
32-19 are the shots on goal in favor of the Soviet Union. They beat the Hartford Whalers on Saturday night, outshot them 29-17 in a 6-3 victory. Central Red Army has outscored the NHL, including tonight's game, 31-22. Dinamo Riga won only twice, and here's a chance for the Soviets, denied, and 5 starts up. Saves the puck, the blue line. Housley moves it up the wing on 5-stick. 5 has one of the Buffalo goals. He goes into forecheck, tying up Gosarov. Rick 5 gets some help now as Rutu played it around the boards, and here's Homatov with it. Andrei Homatov went to the left side and played it right back in front of the net. We look at one another up here, you don't expect to see that. And they turn it over. 5 with a backhander that's blocked at the defense. Rick 5 nudges it into Ardeal. Goes back to the net to Rutu. Rutu can't find anybody open. Nobody goes to Rutu. Now as they move in, the man taken down is Bodger. There'll be a penalty to the Soviets. Rutu puts it in the corner. Bodger picks it up. To Ardeal. Scott Ardeal is checked on the boards, and play is called. There'll be a hooking penalty to the Soviets coming up. Another power play. We pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Superpower Face-Off Series on Sports Channel America.
My palms used to sweat when I had to get on the highway. Now with my Camry V6, I just punch. Yeah! Punch it, Margaret!
The 1989 Toyota Camry V6. 24 valves, 153 horsepower to please even the toughest customers.
We just fell in love with life in the fast lane. My Toyota, who could ask for anything more?
Homatov in the penalty box for holding at 10:51.
Chernik is the defenseman in front for the Soviets, but Bodger makes it possible. He's doing what the Soviets do well. He came right from his left defense post about 5 feet in front, had to be pulled down.
Third power play of the game for the Buffalo Sabres. They do have a power play goal, that's by 5. 5 is not on the ice at the moment. Turgeon, Shepard, and Foligno up front as Roger brings the puck in. Chernik steps in front of Foligno, and Telepukin goes back for it. He got tied up by Turgeon. They play it around the boards, but right to Housley. Rolling to the right side to Bodger. One times it, that's one high and wide. Now Foligno dumps it in. Turgeon, Chernik picked him up as he centered it. Shepard got checked and recovered in time to put it in the corner. Malakoff fires it around the boards and out to center ice. Bodger beats Housley. That's Telepukin forechecking for the Soviets. it up the board. Oh, what a thumping check as Rupp leveled Nemchinov. Meantime, Starikov back with a pass to Makarov. Makarov checked by Lindy Rupp. Back to Hogue. He gives it to Parker for a shot that went wide. Jeff Parker turns in the corner. Dropped it back. Anderson shot to a screen. And what a stop by Milnicott. And while Hogue puts it in the corner, here's Rupp. Works it behind the net for Anderson. To Parker. He gets checked. Starikov plays it around the board. Held in by Johansson. 8 seconds in the power play. That shot blocked. Parker beats the blue line. Anderson works it in deep. Goes off the glass and over into the seats. 1 second remaining in the penalty against Homentov. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the National Hockey League and is intended for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Hockey League and Sports Channel America is prohibited.
Well, Makarov was guilty of a good turnover for the Sabres. Looked like he was going to get it down. They kept it in. A pretty good scoring chance, but the Sabres defense have not elected to really shoot that puck as hard as they can. Sean Anderson had the good chance just up from Rochester, but it was tipped over the glass.
Now Priestley on this face-off, won by the Soviets. Kucherov laying it around to Kamensky. Kamensky across the line. The puck knocked away from him. In escapes again, and he shot one that was blocked by Johansson. Now out in front and struck wide off the stick of Bikov. Comes back to Kasatonov for the drive. That's tipped and went wide. Ray Shepard picks it up, starts up for Buffalo. Shepard dumps it in. Scott Metcalf chasing it. Kasatonov got to it. He's giving it to Kamensky. Kamensky drops it back into the skates of Bikov. Gets over the Buffalo line. Fires one up high. Chest saved by Pupa. Made the puck to the right side for Shepard. Now to Metcalf. Metcalf flipped it between the defense. Kasatonov got back neatly. Akov taken into the boards by Priestley at center ice. Moving up with it is Phil Housley. 4 Soviets string out at the blue line. Housley does the smart thing. Turns back with the puck. His teammates completed a player change, and now Bodger dumps it in, and 5 races in after it. Rick 5 around Malakoff. 5 centers off the skates of Rutu. Picks it up now. Rutu can't get it out in front, and Bikov was with him all the way. Vyacheslav Bikov cleared the zone. Anderson's effort to put it back in ends up in the penalty box. A little less than 6 minutes to play in the third period. You're watching the Superpower Series exclusively on Sports Channel.
Introducing a completely different Mercury Cougar.
Take my breath away.
Introducing pulse-quickening comfort. The all-new Cougar from Mercury, where comfort and control are one.
Scotty Bowman joining Jakes McDonald and Gary Thorne here. Scotty, what was the first year that you took a team that you coached into a game against the Soviets?
1956 in Ottawa, great junior team. We thought we really had the rink tilted in our favor. We lost 10-1.
You're kidding. 56?
1956.
I remember seeing them, I think it was 59 in Kitchener with the J.W. Dutchman years ago.
Only started playing hockey in the mid-40s.
That's true. And they have come a long way. They've picked up so much of the North American style, incorporated some of their own things that the National Hockey League players and teams have tried to incorporate as well. I think right now, the big thing that impresses everybody is the speed, the puck control, and the fact that they're starting to get some goaltending again. After Tretiak retired, there was a real void. But we've seen the young man, Ribe, with Dino Riga. Milnicott has been very steady, not only here tonight, but throughout most of this series. And we're down to 5 minutes remaining in the third period. The score is tied at 5. Remember, if it ends at a tie, the Soviets would win the Sports Channel America Friendship Cup. Salino over the line with a shot. Stick save by Milnicott. Can't turn out of the zone. Salino moved it to Turgeon. Into the corner it goes, off the stick of Connolly. Turgeon pinched it off the boards, but the Soviet defenseman Starikov is able to clear it out. So the Sabres pick it up and start it again. Donnelly works it in on the boards. Starikov plays it around to Bikov. Bikov with a pass to Nemchinov. checked at the center ice stripe. Here's Bodger to Turgeon. Turgeon backhands one in, knocked out of the air by Starikov. Sergei Starikov waiting for his teammates to complete a player change, and Bikov got knocked down. Meantime, Kamensky puts the puck in the Buffalo zone. Kamensky knocked down after the play, got up looking at the Buffalo players, if he was going to go right after him. Did not. Bikov centers it in front. Now Kamensky in after it. He's taken off the puck by Anderson's check. Mike Ramsey plays it out into center ice. Lindy Rupp gets to it there. His pass is tipped away from Holt. Brought over the line by Homaton. Dropped it back. Here's Kasatonov moving right in. Kasatonov can't get it by Kupa. Kasatonov going for his third of the night. The big Soviet defenseman is denied. Housley from back of the goal. Got it through center ice. They rule that Gusarov could have played it. Now back he goes. Telepukin has just come out on a player change. Goes to the left side. The pass right on his stick as he picked it up from Chernik. Shot it wide to Pupa. Aaron Pupa checked down. The puck deflected up into the seats. And there's no further play. 3 minutes and 12 seconds left in regulation. You're watching the Superpower Series exclusively on Sports Channel America.
The following message is brought to you by Sports Channel America.
I'm John McClain. As the NHL competes with the Soviets in the NHL Super Series, we're reminded of the earthquake that devastated Soviet Armenia. The American Red Cross International Disaster Relief Fund has a special 800 number you can call. Your contribution goes toward providing relief for the hundreds of thousands left homeless. Please call 1-800-453-9000 or send your contribution to the address on the screen. Thank you.
Ready for a face-off in the Buffalo end of the ice. 5-5 is the score. That's Davidoff that you had a look at. He's playing over on the left side. Chernik will take the face-off. Telepukin is on right wing, but Buffalo comes up with the draw. This is Housley working from back of the net, giving it to Doug Bodger. Bodger acquired this season from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Dumps it in. Connor Neal goes in after it. Malakoff could not get to the puck. Here's Rutu. His shot held by the goaltender Milnikov after making a glove save. Taken down in the goal mouth area was Rick Five. Sergei Milnikov played all the games for the Soviets in the Winter Olympics at Calgary. Rick Five started his career in Toronto, moved on, he's been in Chicago, and then of course acquired by Buffalo last week. There's Milnikov. The big guy tonight, though, has been the defenseman Kasatonov, who has scored twice. The 29-year-old, Fetisov's best friend, and then his defense partner. They used to say that he didn't play as well when he wasn't teamed with Fetisov, but they haven't been together all night long, and he has scored 2 goals. Kasatonov, another player drafted by the New Jersey Devils in 1983. He has a wife and a son, and will talk hockey by the hour with an interpreter. You may remember that he wore number 7 at Calgary, and wears number 6 regularly for Central Red Army. Makarov fed the puck up, emptied it off, and the pass is blocked. Over the line comes Starikov. Holds up on Rutu, centers one, is grabbed and held by Pupa. And 2 men right in front of the net. Makarov on one side, emptied off on another. And there was Pupa reaching out for that catching glove. Pupa out of RPI. Came up with a big save earlier in the game. It was Kluche, who was in the nets for a couple of great stops for the Sabres. They've been outshot 35-22 tonight. We're down to 2 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in regulation time. Pierre Turgeon will take the face-off for Buffalo as Coach Ted Sater sends out Foligno as well. The other forward is Donnelly. Niemchadov centering the puck following the draw, came right back to him. Niemchadov trying to put it in front of the net. That hit the goal. Mike Ramsey moves it up the boards, and Donnelly dumps it out into center ice. Fetisov goes back. He and Starikov together as they've been all night long. Now Makarov picks up the puck. Makarov trying to cut in off left wing. It's in deep. Centers it from the back of the net. That's steered aside by Pupa. Fetisov taken to the boards. The Sabres moving around on the left side. Johansson getting it to Donnelly, and he clears the zone. Makarov has to go back. Makarov with less than 2 minutes to go. Up through center ice. Bodger fell, but was able to recover in time to clear it just under the reach of Kamensky. center and dumps it in. Goes wide of the net. Batista plays it to the left side for Kamieski. Kamieski. Pass intercepted by Bodger. Now brought right back out again. Kamieski checked by Rupp. Andy Rupp into the zone. Right side to Parker. Parker trying to get around Batista as they go to the corner. Now Baykoff plays it up the board. A player change. Ramsey comes in, slams into Hobatov, but the puck ends up at center. Rupp moves it to Parker, and again Buffalo content to put it in the Soviet zone, and now make a player change. Gusarov with the pass off Chernig's stick. Ryan knocked it out of the air. Pokes at it again. It goes to Gusarov. Gusarov plays it to center. A two-line pass offside. Would you believe that? As Davidoff picked it up on his own side of center ice. Scotty, we're down to the final 50 seconds of this third period. Still tied at 5.
Yes, we know we're going into overtime if a goal isn't scored, and of course...
Do you believe what you just saw on your monitor, Scotty? Did you see that second?
Timeout. It doesn't take them long to really get our rules down pat.
Well, they've got this game figured out all right. That's Alexander Chernik going back to the Soviet bench. So the discussion now between Tikhonov and Mikhailov. Now you look at this team that the Sabres have done battle with tonight, and think to yourself that this team would be comparable, I guess, Scotty, to the Edmonton Oilers if they were to win the league championship 12 consecutive years, or the Montreal Canadiens of your era. 12 consecutive years this Central Red Army team has led all of Soviet hockey. Amazing.
I think, Jake, the loss in 1980 to the U.S. team was one loss in 28 years, 7 Olympic seasons. So that pretty well tells you about this team.
Now they're going to send out a forward line of Chernik, Davidoff, and Zalapukin. We have not seen much of Larry Arnott here in the third period. Scotty pointed out that he passed up several good shooting opportunities only to move the puck to somebody else. Kind of think maybe he's hurting. He's the smartest player on the team and the smallest as well. Great playmaker, but he's had back problems recently. The puck is cleared high off the glass into the penalty box. 43 seconds remaining in the third period. Let's take a look at the Friendship Cup. It's provided by Sports Channel America. Scotty Bowman has left the broadcast booth. He'll be on hand for the presentation either to the Soviets or to the National Hockey League. And the recipients on behalf of the league would be the Buffalo Sabres. But Buffalo needs to score a goal. That's the only way the NHL can win it now, is to beat the Soviets in this game. If it ends in a tie in overtime, then the Soviets would win. Or, of course, if the Soviets score, then it's automatic. Greg Ramsey brings the puck into center ice. Shoots it around the boards. Ruchu goes in after. Taken down by Chernik. Play allowed to continue. And up the ice comes Zalapukin. Over the Buffalo line. Cuts to the left side. His pass off the stick. Unable to handle it was Davidoff. And Buffalo dumps it into the Soviet zone. Konstantinov just did get it to Starikov. Starikov at center ice. Moves it on into the zone offside with 6 seconds left. So it appears that we will go to overtime in this, the final game of the Superpower Series 1988-89. In this series, Central Red Army came in tonight with a 4-1-1 record. They had an opening night tie in Quebec and beat the New York Islanders. They have victories over the Islanders, Boston, New Jersey, and Hartford. Their only loss was at Pittsburgh. And Dinamo Riga, of course, defeated. They started with a tie at Calgary, then were defeated the next night by Edmonton. Vancouver beat them. Dinamo Riga recovered to beat Los Angeles. And they have not been able to win since. And there's the horn ending the third period. Each team with a goal. Sergei Melnikov, who came on at the start of the second period, allows only one goal, and that's the one that ties it at 5. And that was almost 14 minutes ago when Shepard scored. The shots on goal, really, and the relationships with the Soviets in the past few years. And certainly, The Soviets, I think, could find a place on their team for a Kevin Lowe, as could the New Jersey Devils for Fetisov, Kasatonov. Vancouver hoping to have Larionov. Buffalo certainly would like to have Mogilny. Kamensky would be welcome in Quebec. So many teams in the National Hockey League now drafting Soviet players, and we're ready for overtime. If Buffalo scores, the National Hockey League receives that trophy. If nobody scores, or if the Soviets score, then the trophy goes to Moscow with the Central Red Army squad. Fetisov handling the puck, following the face-off to Makarov. Comes in over the line, is knocked away from him and picked up by Housley. He rounds the Buffalo net. Housley dumps it out through center ice. Turgeon races into the Soviet zone to get a stick on it, then played it wide. Mientchinov is back. He's bumped solidly by Donnelly. Here's Foligno trying to get it out in front of the net. Here to side by Fetisov. Mientchinov with it again. Sergei Mientchinov to Fetisov. And solidly by Turgeon's check. Turgeon with a shot. Scooped up and held by Milnikov. Drops it from Makarov. Up the far side, and went off Chica's stick. Down in by Housley to the corner for Ruff. Lindy Ruff put it to the side of the net. Taken there by Fetisov. One of the Soviets now without a helmet. Into the center ice he comes. It's Koschikin. Checked at the Buffalo line. Roger pokes it up to center ice. Beacon picks it up. 1 minute is gone in overtime. Beacon. He's been the leading scorer in this series for the Soviets. Now to Kamensky. Dumps it toward the corner. Sabres moving up along the boards. Back forward is Kasatonov. To Beacon. Oh, knocked it off his stick. Kamensky gets checked. Puck comes back to Kasatonov, who shot it in. Ramsey with it now. Ramsey had it go off the stick, and it's cleared outside the line. Beacon waited, then gave it away. Down the near side comes Parker. Shoots one from the blue line that missed the net. Parker after his own rebound. Unloaded. That hit Guzarov. Guzarov gets up slowly after taking the force of the shot off the ankle. Housley back in his own zone with a pass to Ramsey. Off Kamensky. Housley met him, knocking him off balance. Beacon shoots it in around the boards and got away from Puka. This is Metcalf now for Buffalo. Scott Metcalf. Long pass intercepted at center ice. Davidoff over the line. Telepukin trailing. Davidoff can't get out of the corner. Metcalf picks it up. Metcalf trying to flip it up. Velikov knocked it down, and Housley rushes the puck. The Soviets get 2 men back. Housley over the line, cuts in, went to the forehand and chipped it just wide. Now center. Presley scores! Priestley! Buffalo defeats the Central Red Army in overtime, 6-5. It's only the second loss for the Soviets in this series, and look at the celebration going on at Ford Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. Ken Sater being congratulated by Alan Eagleson. There's a scene so similar to 1972. How many of us remember the goal scored by Paul Henderson of the Soviet Union? And now here in Buffalo, on the 9th of January, 1989, the Sabres score in overtime. And the rookie just called up from Rochester, Priestley, gets the goal, and the National Hockey League will win the Friendship Cup. Let's take another look at it. Here's the way the play developed in the Soviet end of the ice. All of a sudden, or I should say in the Buffalo end of the ice, all of a sudden they move in on the right side. This is Housley. Trying to go to the forehand, missed. And he's able to play the puck back. It comes right out in front of Priestley. Ken Priestley gets the goal. 2 minutes and 20 seconds into sudden death overtime. See the handshake, and let's see again how the National Hockey League took the Friendship Cup away from the Soviets. All they needed was a tie. And this play by Housley, the puck goes wide. Milnikov down, it comes back to the net. Right to the left. Milnikov seemed to react late, and Priestley beats him. And look at that reaction. And the celebration was underway. Here it is again. Housley. He pokes it back to the other side out in front, and there's Priestley. And the National Hockey League has defeated, or I should say the Buffalo Sabres has defeated the Soviet Union Central Red Army team 6-5 in overtime. And as a result,
to love everything about the Fashion Channel.